I think I am live. Hello, Zen friends. Happy weekend to you all. You made it. Here it is Friday or Saturday morning if you're watching from the other side of the planet. And hope your weekend has started in an amazing way and continues to do so. And I'm excited, as always, to see what messages come through from Spirit tonight. Before we get into everything, we do love to bring in beautiful energy from above through the singing bowl here. So if you'd like to join me in doing that real quick here, please feel free to do so. I'll start off by, we'll take a big deep breath together to come out of the future, come out of the past, come out of the outside world, the chaos, whatever's going on, come back to this moment right now. And then if we think of one thing that we're grateful for, that immediately begins to raise our love vibration, opens us up to receiving from Spirit, and also magnetizes us to receive more of that from Spirit. And then we'll hit the singing bowl 3 times and just imagine this beautiful flood of eternal unconditional love energy flowing into us and filling up every part of our physical bodies, our energetic bodies, our emotional bodies, our mental bodies, and then flowing out to the world to allow it to do whatever it wants to do out there to help raise the vibration of the planet, because we know it can always use extra love out there, right? All right, so if you want to join me, we'll start by taking a big deep breath in, hold it for as long as you feel comfortable, and then release, and then we'll bring in the singing bowl. So remember gratitude. Here we go. Big deep breath in and hold. Beautiful. All right, let's begin. Let's do that again. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me in doing that. Just let her quiet down here. Great energy tonight, as always. Put her back on her little shelf there. She can watch over us. So welcome, everybody. Hey, Michelle and Zuni and Christina. Touch Olav, Macaroni. Hello, everybody. So happy to have everyone here. And like I said, hope you're having a great weekend starting off here. If you're new to my channel or new to these readings, welcome. I'm brudda-zen. We got a great group of Zen friends with huge hearts and luckily great senses of humor too. Two things we can definitely use in our human adventure. If you want to know how the process works, it's all listed in the description box down below. Donations you get first priority. Excuse me. And so we get those do get first priority. So I step out of the free readings and dive deeper for those. Free readings are generally 1 to 2 cards, and donations we do pull more cards, get into the tea, as some of my Zen friends say. I'm brudda-zen, third eye, private eye. We dive into the tea and get into stuff. So we do that. If you want to make a donation, you can use the super chat at the bottom or in the description box of the video. I do list my Venmo, my Cash App, my PayPal, and my Square. You can use whatever you want and donate whatever you want from your heart. I know not everyone can, give the same amounts or anything like that because of cost of living differences, rate of exchange across the world differences, our finances change from day to day, whatever. So whatever you're able to give from your heart is the perfect amount. And I do honor that. That's why, excuse me, I prioritize those. And I do step out of those free readings. Also, if you make a donation, you do get what I call a fortune cookie. Tonight we are using the Inner Child Oracle. So just one per customer per session, just for out of fairness and timing. So if you make multiple donations, you just get one fortune cookie. I will be using the Star Tarot this evening. Big ol' hunkin' box here. Beautiful deck. So that's the tarot deck that I'll be using. What else? What else? At the end of each session, I'm usually on for about 3 hours. If I have, sometimes I finish earlier. But I'm trying something new. If I don't get to free readings within the last, like in the first 2.5 hours, I'll step away from donations. The last half hour, I do free readings, is what I'm trying out something new. So we'll test that and see how that goes. So we'll get into those. What else? I haven't started any readings yet, Zuni, so you are good to go. You haven't missed anything yet. I'm still blabbing. And I was going to say at the end of each session, I do post a pinned comment listing all the readings completed with timestamps. So if you ever come back after a session has ended, you can go just find your name, click on it, take you right to your reading. So we're high tech these days, right? Also, I wanted to announce I did officially introduce my new podcast series called The Easier Path. And of course, in brudda-zen style, I like to give things away when I do something big or we hit big landmarks and stuff. So here's the giveaway. All you have to do is comment on this intro video with something that you're grateful for in your life, either right now or from your past. And then you'll be entered in the drawing. And I'll have a drawing on October 1st for at least one winner of a personal recorded reading. And all this is down in the description box of the video if you want to come back to it as well. Also, I'm having some specials on my personal recorded readings. Yes, I do offer personal readings as well. All this, again, down in the description box. But for the remainder of September and through October, I'm offering discounted pricing on my personal recorded readings. My 15-minute session is $777 US dollars, 30 minutes, $15.15 US dollars. So you can find all that by clicking that link, or all that again listed down in the description box of the video. So I like that. Giving stuff away, like I said. So I might give more than one away, depending on how many people participate as well, of course. I think that's the skinny on on the stuff. So we will get into the reading. So where we're at right now for the donations. Excuse me, do we have Christina Lowe? Hello, hello, my friend. You'll be up first. And then Moonlight. I'm sorry, Zuni. I was typing down. Zuni is via the Cash App. And then Moonlight 5. You beep after that. And then Deb Deb. Hey, Deb Deb. Welcome. You snuck in. There you are. So good to see you. Okay, yeah. Ooh, skydiving. Whoa, okay. We'll definitely look into these here for you, and we'll see what's going on. So I think that's everything. Let's get into the messages from Spirit, and we'll see what we have going on here. All right. So Christina Lowe, you are up. Let's grab your timestamp here first. Boom. There we go. And your free reading request, I'll probably get to that because there's just 2 people ahead of you for the free reading. So it'll be separate later on in the session, of course. All right. He said, how have you been? I've been doing good. There's some interesting energy going on in the world. Been a bit foggy and it could be the fall equinox coming up and the of course the eclipses. You guys ready for the new moon solar eclipse in Virgo on Sunday or Monday, depending where you're at in the world? I'm excited. Here we go. So we'll definitely find out. So I hope you're doing well, Christina. Ooh. Okay, it was a car. I was like, that sounded weird outside. Sounds like a dragster, the really loud cars. So, you'd like to know anything and everything you need to know about Tony, as you haven't talked much since 8/17. We'll see what I don't know if we can do everything, but we'll see what Spirit wants you to know right now. You also still, I think you have your free reading that you won. So if you want to dive extra deep, something to consider. Of course, you don't have to spend it on that if you don't want to, but just putting that out there. All right, let's take a look here. So let's see here about Tony. What do you need to know about Tony, or what the Spirit feels in your best to know here about Tony? All right, let's see what we got here. So we do have a little bit of a countdown. We've got like 3, 2, 1, 3 cards, 2 cards, 1 card, then underlying energy on that last card. So we'll see what's going on here. The first 3 cards that came out together, you do have the Ace of Swords. Yeah, definitely there's, with the Ace of Swords, that is clarity. Because you guys aren't the same, of course, that you were just, 10 years ago when you were 17. Wink, wink. Yeah, the Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, so there is this bit of, this is an independent kind of energy, kind of a loner kind of energy, and the Six of Cups. Well, that makes sense. Past connections, someone returning from past connections here. But I do feel like there's been a lot of change and transformation from both of you. And so it's like, I feel like this first part is realizing that they are not who they were. You're not who they were. So you both have changed, and it's all about all of that. Yeah, you can put on the shelf of how you perceive them back then, but we weren't perceiving anything clearly back then either, right? Because we were seeing it through our own eyes of our own experiences and us going as well. So we've got this energy here of a fresh start. Get to know them for who they are now with this energy. Let's see what else they want you to know here. You do have the King of Pentacles. So there is this energy of being solid, and they see their worth. And there's that independence card of the Nine of Pentacles. I feel like they really have gone through where they're in a solid position of what their self-worth is, right? Because we've got the Eight of Swords, and the Eight of Swords here, along with this King of Pentacles, the Eight of Swords is questioning our thoughts and beliefs and mindsets and letting them go, those things that used to make us feel blinded and bound and trapped and restricted and small. So I feel like they've done some transformational, kind of self-reflection to have this solid foundation of they're confident in who they are, which is good. It's a good solid energy that comes in here. A little bit of that with the Eight of Swords too, the freedom of letting go of expectations on who they were, who they're supposed to be, who they should be, who they need to be, etc. It's about kind of just let all that go and let it be a journey of getting to know someone. If you're wanting to get to know them again or hang out with them or whatever, it's like, yeah, I'm just going to go in with my eyes wide open now. Whereas before it was kind of, back when we're 17, we're all confused about everything in life, right? I remember those times. It was like we're walking around in a fog. What's going on? Right now, you're much more in tune with who you are in spirit world, of course, as well. So I like that. Let's see what else comes in here. You do have the Four of Swords. Yeah, again, your one card here with the Four of Swords. This is about they're sleeping on the Ace of Swords, which you have in the beginning, seeing things from a higher perspective. But that Three of Swords that's normally on the wall of the Four of Swords is the Three of Swords expectations equal disappointment card. So it's letting all the expectations go. Again, I just feel like it's let go, let go, let go of any mindsets you have around memories of who they were, what they did or did not do, what you expect them to do now or not, or how things, who you're supposed to be, all these supposed to be's and should be's and need to be's and have to be's, right? Just allow it to be an adventure. The card that was underneath that, yeah, the Star card. I love that. This is, a beautiful, almost looks like this back here. I just noticed, whoops, over here. There you go. But this is it's a balanced energy. It's Aquarian energy. So it's very balanced in that, yeah, you can have emotions, but keeping them, in a nice little jar is what the water bearer of the Aquarians do. It's like I'm allowing myself to feel and explore, but I'm not going to let it just go helter skelter everywhere. I'm just going to put it in and keep it and let it be an adventure. But the Aquarius mental energy of the air is all present throughout this reading here about, yeah, because you had swords in every single one. I like the bottom. I was wondering whether they were going to bring this up. Oh, yeah, I like the underneath they have the King of Swords, just to do it off. But the Four of Wands, the joy, the celebration, enjoy for someone for who they are, because when we start to get into all the nitty gritty, and all those expectations, that's what sucks the life out of our experiences. So I like this message for you for this reading anyway. Just let it unfold. We want to know everything sometimes because our little inner child does not like to feel unsafe or out of control and doesn't like the unknown. So we'd like to know what to prepare for. But when we step into our power and realize it doesn't matter what happens in the outside world, it doesn't change my worth at all. I get to control the story about what is happening. I get to control my emotions, my energy, my actions. Can't control anyone else's. And I like the statement that the outside world, everything that happens, everything that someone does or doesn't do, says or doesn't say, is neutral. It has no meaning because we're created to give it meaning. And that's our power of our story. And I can give it a story of something lower vibration or a story of a higher vibration. I can choose emotion of lower vibration or higher vibration, energy of lower, higher, and then I will attract that. Or my physical actions can be of lower vibration or higher vibration. Whatever I'm doing the most of is what I'm drawing to me. So I realize I get to choose how I respond or react to what's happening. I like that empowerment that's there. I feel like they're being mysterious right now, your spirit guides with all that. Just to go, don't try to control it, have to figure out everything. Just let it flow. And like I said, if you want to dive deeper into more, you can consider using your personal reading. We can see if they'll give us, based on current energies, experiences that you'll have, etc. We can always look at some of that as well. But I feel like you're on a need-to-know basis, and you don't need to know that today. I was like, wow, okay. Let's see what your fortune cookie brings in. Yeah, I love it. You are worthy. Boom. Card number 40, which says, you are worth it all, my love. What a perfect card. It says, everyone longs to be worthy. Hell yeah, right? We work hard to find this worth in many different places, in accomplishments, in titles, in the eyes of another. But at the end of the day, all we truly have is the worth that we attribute to ourselves. This is not to diminish the beautiful gifts that can be ours through our actions and relationships, but to say that if we do not find ourselves worthy first, we will continue to search for it elsewhere and never find satisfaction. Wow. An acceptance exercise here says, for this exercise, journal your responses to the word worthy. What do you feel when you hear the word? Is there anything you feel you're not worthy of? What do you seek outside of yourself to make yourself feel worthy? Is there anything you feel like you are worthy of? Is there something that your inner child might need to hear about their worth? What are some of the statements you might have wished to hear as a child about your worth? Wow, this is powerful. Write down 5 to 10 statements of your worth. And these statements should touch your heart and fill you up with feelings of warmth and light when you speak them aloud. Now that you have these statements of worth, it's time to practice speaking the words to yourself. Using a mirror, if you can, look deep into your eyes, cup the side of your face, and proceed to give yourself what your heart is longing to hear. Practice speaking these statements of worth to yourself and to your inner child as many times as you can during the following weeks. Wow, that's pretty powerful. The responsive journaling prompt says, how do you and your inner child feel after this exploration of self-worth? Is there a talisman or item you can carry that will help you continue this practice throughout the following weeks? Wow. Perfect card for the energy that we are having coming through. So there we go. That is what they have there for you. All right. So thank you again for your donation. Like I said, we'll circle back around for your free reading here in a moment. All right. Sorry, let me just add here. Oh, whoops. Hitting buttons all over the place here. All right, there we go. So Zinni will be up next, and then Moonlight 5, and then Deb, and then Michelle Smith. You'll be up after that. All right, so Zuni, you are up. 23:55 is your timestamp here. Whoops. Hey, hello, hello. Thanks for being here. And thank you for your donation via Zcash app. Yeah, it was the Cash app. So let's take a look here. Will you get the job with SpaceX? All right. Let's take a look here. So will you get the job with SpaceX based on current energies? Got that here, that here. Anything else? All right, let's see what we got here. Well, I like the bottom of the deck because you do have the King of Wands, which talks about, you have the power. It It's like you determining what you want, clearing the throne room of everyone else and all their opinions and all the blah, blah, blah. And having them leave all their opinions on a box as they leave out the door. And you're like, then you get to sit in quiet to find out, what is it that my heart wants? What is it that I want? And then you put a plan together, and then you put action behind it. So I love this, because if this is your heart, what your heart's desire is, then there's a lot of energy behind it. But there is a good reflection in that card being the bottom of the deck of this for you, because it does remind us to have like a we have what our mind thinks it wants, and then we have what our heart wants in our life too, right? So it's taking time to clarify, what is my dream, not my mind's dream that it took on from other people, but what is my heart's dream? And if that matches up, then like I said, there's extra oomph, oomph, oomph behind it. So great possibilities comes with that. Yeah, you do have the Fool card here. The Fool card is, this is the answer to the question is, will you get this job? And the Fool card, it's a world of possibility energy. It is about a new beginning and a new adventure. So when I'm looking at this energy here, I feel like there's a great possibility, um, and something that you can do to help with it too, because the King of Wands brings in an energy. If I focus on what I'm grateful for, like if I want a new job, I can be, what am I grateful for in a current job I'm in, or any of the past jobs that I've been in, and that opens up and allows it to flow more easily toward me. If I'm focused on want and need or fear that I won't get something, I'm actually pushing it further away, because that's energy of lack. And so it's good to be aware of that there's great possibilities for it to be drawn in here, but it's really important to look at your energy and what you're focusing on, because you can either help the universe by opening up, or we can resist by want, need, or fear energy, right? So it's good to just be aware of that. Let's see what else they have here for you. Eight of Wands, yeah, a lot of energy. Does feel like here you have a great amount of this power, like we talked about. If this is your heart's desire, there's so much energy behind this being, if you step into your heart, in that place of gratitude, it will really, it's really magnetized. It's really drawing it. I mean, it's almost like this is, here's your heart, and here's all this, like an electromagnet. Is that what they call it? Where it's like just drawing it towards you. But I feel like your heart is a big piece of this. Let's see what these other three cards are. Yeah, the Moon, all this emotional energy, heart's desire, heart's desire. Here's the Knight of Wands. Again, there's all this fast, fast, fast moving energy that comes in here. And the High Priestess. The High Priestess and the Moon and all this focus on love energy here. I do feel like if this is what you want and what you really want to go for, I feel like the job will come towards you, and it will arrive very fast. But there's this nudge here with all of this energy too, to make sure to kind of take a step back and really look at your heart and go, what is my heart's dream come true? A lot of times we have a lot of opinion that we grow up with, and our mind has an idea of what it wants, but that's based sometimes on a lot of small t truths rooted in fears and other people's opinions and other people's dream for us that we took on. And we're like, okay, well, this is what I should do. Where if when we kind of take a moment, step back, like the High Priestess, she steps back from everything, goes up into her High Priestess temple. In this case, we like open the brain's door, we walk out of the brain closet, go down a spiral staircase, go over, knock on our heart. Our heart answers, invites us in. We sit down for some coffee or tea or whatever, and just chat with them and go, what is your heart's desire? What makes you want to sing? What makes you want to dance? And if that aligns with the mind, boom, that's where all this energy can come in, and things can come in very fast. So, um, great possibilities. Just it all depends on that energy where we're focusing, how fast it will come toward us. And then just a reflection on, is this what my heart wants, or is this something my mind feels that I should have, right? It's up to you, energy, with that. Yeah, you're the yes and no person, right? You don't even want a fortune cookie, right? Oh, they said you can start Monday. Well, there you go. Yeah. So will you get the job with SpaceX and they said you can start Monday? Yeah, you like straightforward. Um, and I wish I could give you a straightforward with that because it is a maybe, um, with this possibilities. But if they're already telling you that you can start Monday, there is this. I feel like there's a big nudge to find out, is this what your heart wants? Because it's really coming in strong here. Because Spirit takes the opportunity to speak to you, more than what we're wanting. I know, but this feels like a world of possibilities, and if you want it, you can have it, but they're also going to it's kinda like they're saying you can get it here. Yeah. Oh, okay, I see. Oh, your Mercury is Aries, right? Yeah, right? I like to communicate. Um, yeah, so this is like, you can have this job, but I feel like they're saying that, make sure this is what your heart wants, because otherwise it's going to feel empty. It's going to feel empty in a short amount of time, and you're going to feel like, meh, this isn't bringing me what I thought it would. I don't feel as fulfilled as I thought I would, because your mind is wanting it, so you're going to kind of fall into an existing energy. So, we can you can go for it and experience it, but also I feel like they're saying, take a moment to look at your heart and find out, where does your heart want to take you, as well. You need something to pay the bills, right? Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, that's good. So I like that. I like that energy. So keep that in your heart, and don't let this paying bill, um, consume your heartstring, for that too. But I do feel like with this, all this energy, that I like that. That totally makes sense with all the, make sure you continue to follow your heart, but you can, get that job if that's what you want. There's all this energy. You just, go into a state of gratitude for it, and it'll draw right in. But if you approach it with an energy of want and need, it kind of pushes it further away. So I feel like they're saying, yes, if you do this. If you don't do that, then it pushes it away from you, if that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad that you have that there. All right. So hopefully that helps, Zuni. Did you want the fortune cookie? Because I feel like before you were like, I don't want no fortune cookie. If I'm remembering, if this was you before. Um, okay, yeah. So yeah, Spirit was going, no, no, no. So we won't waste your time then. So that's what they have for you. Hopefully that does well for you. So hang in there, Zuni, and enjoy your adventure. Thank you again for your donation. You're so funny. I appreciate your honesty. Not just going, yeah, yeah, I can have one, when you're like, I'm not going to listen to it. So I like that. All right. So many blessings to you. Enjoy your dance for sure. All right. Let me just enter this here. Oh, all right. Gonna add. All right. So up next, we do have Moonlight. You are up. Hello, Moonlight 5. And let's grab your timestamp here. And thank you for your donation. And game over. Uh-oh, what's the sticker about? All right. I am doing well. I hope you're doing good as well. So you'll take all Spirit has for this weekend and week to come. All right. Let's take a look here and see what we have here for you. weekend and for this week coming up. They don't want that one. They do want this one. And they do want this one for the week. And this underlying energy for the week, with this being where you end up at the end of the week. All right, we got it here. All right. Let me take a quick sip here. Cheers, everyone. Got some chamomile tea here. All right. Well, bottom of the deck here, Moonlight, you do have the Ace of Cups. There is this energy here of self-love, 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 the underlying energies of this weekend and this week coming up. And we're always on, of course, a quest for our self-love. And um, so we're always on this, but it's very spotlighted this weekend and next week. A lot of reflection of things of what does this mean about me kind of um, energy. There was Christina, which was two readings before yours here, had a great fortune cookie around worth, and I feel like that's a big piece of our journey of self-love and our journey of self-worth. So if you feel drawn to go listen to that, we can all glean from each other's fortune cookies. But I feel like there's some great journaling prompts and some great questions around that for ourselves that can just help reinforce, show us how far we've come already. And is there anything that stands out that I can, you know, give a little energy to? And of course, because there was like 10 questions or something. So it's a good reflection type of energy. For this weekend for you, you do have the Princess of Cups. Yep, the Page of Cups that's pursuing the Ace of Cups, or it's um, new information or newness around finding that Ace of Cups, right? And the Six of Wands. There's this victory. I like this. Again, this is like this weekend feels like a reflection type of weekend. I know with the new moon in Virgo, solar eclipse, very much we're already all in this deep in this energy, right? But I feel like, yeah, and even with the new moon up here, but there's this one celebrating again how far I've come in my journey of self worth and of my self love, right? And I feel like this is a cheering, section from your spirit guides going, celebrate, look how far you've come. And, over the last year, over the last 2 years, over the last 3 years, just kind of look at yourself and how far you've grown. I feel that's a big reflection on that type of weekend. And I feel like there will be things that if you experience being around people or having any interactions, be aware that the mirror is very bright right now. You know how they have these cosmetologist, is it? Whatever, mirrors where on one side it's a regular mirror and you flip it over and it's like you can see your pores. It feels like this weekend into next week it's flipped and it's on bright and you're like, oh my God, I can see everything. And I feel like the interactions you have with people are going to be showing you and reminding you, one, of how far you've come. Because like if they would have said that like a year ago, um I would be steam and fire would be coming out of me, right? But now it was like you just noticed it and you didn't react from it. You're choosing to respond to it. So that's what kind of, I feel like it's a mirror reflection type of energy, but definitely a celebration type of energy this weekend. And then into next week, you have the Four of Wands, joyful celebration sometime next week. So you might be invited to a gathering of some sort, or there's some sort of celebration that's happening. I like that. Joy, 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 joyful choice with that energy. You also have the Prince of Swords. So here's the Knight of Swords, clarity, seeking clarity, seeing things from a higher perspective. I do feel like this is also movement of communication being the air communication suit. So I do feel like you will have some, um, and with that being the knight and not being the ace of swords, doesn't feel like brand new communication. It feels like communication from people from the past. Um, and again, these are reflective type of energies that go this next week here too. Yeah, I love it though. You have the emperor energy coming in, which is a very stable energy, being the number 4. And it is that energy of the emperor going, this is my life. I can put everyone else's thoughts, choices, opinions, whatever in a box. They can clear the throne room, and you get to decide what it is that I want in my heart, not the mind with all those expectations, but what I want, and putting a plan together and moving forward. But I feel like this is more a recognition of the power that you've stepped into, and a continuation of taking it even to a new level of that this is my life and I get to make choices for me, not, well, because this will impact them, so I'm going to do this, but really stepping into the power of your choices. Let's see what's underneath there too. Yeah, with the 10 of wands, there is this, where am I investing all my energy below the surface here. It's kind of doing a little inventory, a little check-in, which we need, because the chaos of the outside world gets our attention, draws us off of what we're headed for, what we're like our true north, where I'm wanting to go. We get distracted and we kind of go off a little bit. And they're like, okay, come back here. It's like if you're ever driving and you look at something and you start to drift, let's take that steering wheel and go, oh, well, let me get back on the road here. It's a good reminder of just, where am I investing my energy, and is that where I want to be investing it? And it's a change of energy from something that can feel like a burden to feeling like abundance and a gift kind of energy. So it does feel like a week again of this continued. It's just not as jam packed, I feel, as this weekend, because there's kind of feels spread out throughout the week. Gives you time to do some reflection. By the end of next week, yeah, the Queen of Pentacles, you're feeling abundant. You're feeling the Empress energy with the Queen of Pentacles too, Mother Nature, Mother Nurture. And I feel like you're in a place where you understand and have clarity around what you want to create, and where you want to invest your energy. So I feel like it's a good reflective week of really sifting through the things that are going on in your life so that you can decide where it is you want to send that energy and invest that energy. Because you're like, I don't want to, pour my energy into a black hole where it's not going to do anything. I want to make the most of my energy, right? So what your fortune cookie brings in here too, through the inner child oracle. So of course, like I said, you could always also check out Christina's. This one, you have practice freedom. I love it. Fly free. Release the weight of judgment. Yep, on yourself. And then we automatically release it on others. That's the wonderful thing. One big aha I had in my life was when I had myself under a long list of laws. I called them the conditional love laws. They were small t, truths rooted in fears, all those opinions. And I had the expectations of how I was supposed to live and how the world was supposed to be. And of course, everyone else, I thought, had the same list as mine. And if I had to have myself under all that, by golly, everyone else is going to obey these rules too. I was God's little sheriff, I used to say, going around making sure everyone else was doing what they were supposed to do too. And we know how we all love that, don't we? I know I didn't like it. But when I released myself from all these expectations, suddenly I didn't care about what other people were doing or not doing, saying or not saying as much, because I didn't have myself under that anymore. I didn't expect it from them either. But if I have myself under rules, I'll make sure everyone else does too. I like this. Practice freedom. Judgments that we or others have placed upon ourselves can shackle us, stealing our joy and will to fully embody our life. It is a heavy burden to carry the weight of judgment, and it can keep us trapped in a cycle of fear and blame. If you have pulled this card, it might be time to consider whether you're being held prisoner by judgments. Yeah. Inner work exercise. Take some time today or this weekend or next week, right? To reflect on the beliefs that you hold about yourself or your inner child. Write down as many core beliefs as you can and then review your statements for signs and patterns of judgmental beliefs. A good way to do this is to speak these statements out loud and then focus on the feelings and sensations you experience afterward. On a separate page, write down all of the statements that did not leave you feeling empowered and hopeful. Now is the time to dig a little deeper. Well, we knew that. That's what your reading was, right? Where did these beliefs come from? The usual suspects, I imagine, right? Why do you believe this is true about yourself or your inner child? And if you release these beliefs, are you afraid something might happen? Are parts of your identity built around these beliefs? Answering these questions can help you understand where these judgmental beliefs came from and why they might have been, uh, and why they might have been hesitant to go. Okay, that makes sense now. Now is the time to counter them. Write down the opposite statements to these judgmental beliefs. Say them out loud and see how you feel. Do you feel empowered, hopeful, or full? If so, then there is truth here that needs to be spoken. I love it. Responsive journaling prompt is: how does it feel to speak words of truth and freedom over yourself now? Wow, I love that. So, fly, birdie, fly. So that's what they have for you for that one, Moonlight. Thank you again for your donation and enjoyed that adventure. I love those prompts. I'm going to have to keep those cards out and do that stuff for me too. All right. So many blessings to you, my dear. All right. And then Deb, you are up. Let's grab your timestamp here. Boom. Give your donation a love and a like here. So the skydiving that was rescheduled is for tomorrow. Should I? Would I? Could I? So family's all going to watch. Then for pizza, all right. Anything Spirit wants to bring attention to. Yeah, new moon and Virgo solar eclipse energy. Bob wants to know who should jump with Mariah, me or him. Okay, well, we'll see. Of course, there's no shoulds, right? From Spirit standpoint, they don't have like a better or worse energy because they don't have judgment. They just see it all as experiences and opportunities. So what we'll do, let's um let's pull a card here about just what they want you to know about the skydiving tomorrow, just in general, to start off, just to set the ground before we take off in the plane. And then let's take a look here and see. Um, yeah, that's anything that Spirit wants to draw your attention to. And then if you jump with Mariah, what's the experience? Okay. And then if Bob jumps, what's the experience? Okay. That one and that one. I like that. I like the first two cards came out like this. Like, you know how when you jump out of and they sometimes they try to land an exact spot on the ground. So that's what was funny because that's the ground energy. The bottom of the deck, though, you've got your card, the Aquarius star card here. So this is all about the adventure and of course, you know, when we're looking at that, it's a dream come true. It almost feels like bucket list. I've marked it off my list. But it's very positive energy, and it's of course a major arcana. So um, we've got that there. But what do they overall want you to know about it here? You do have the World card, the ending of one cycle, the beginning of a new adventure. I was gonna go, then not, and now maybe, but yeah, no, it was a bucket list for you. But and you have the Five of Swords. You have the conflict between your head and your heart. But the World card is, is a victory energy. It is, completing a cycle, and it allows you to face a fear that you have. And I get it. Um, my brother was he's still alive. That's what make sure I say before I say was. When he was in the military, one of the things that he did, and because he was in there for what 20 years or whatever, 30 years, however long they're in there. Um, but he was yeah, he jumped out of airplanes in Alaska, which doing the night drops into snow in the middle of winter in Alaska. Uh, so it is an exciting and it is an exciting thought. But it seems here the biggest thing is the conflict between the head and the heart, right? With the Five of Swords. I don't feel like that's conflicting energy about the flight, about anything like that. This feels more of the internal conflict because you got the World card, the major arcana, which is, success. Yeah, you loved your winged spirits. Now you can go like, this is what they feel like when they're flying. Just channel your inner hawk. So I don't feel like there's anything to be concerned about with those cards coming in here. But let's see here. The energy, if you jump with Mariah, yeah, you got the sun card. Boom. Butterfly. Look at that. With your inner child, with your child. I like that. The underlying energy underneath that. Yep, the power of choice. But here's Mother Luna, Cancer, Mother Moon energy coming in here too. Again, a victory card. And then the full card, the beginning of a new adventure. So we had the last card, the major arcana, and here's the new adventure, full of possibilities. Three major arcana. So it's a very powerful energy here, very successful. And I know, like, they're reminding me, yeah, I pictured you. What? Hawk, 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 making hawk noises. And because you're doing it, is it called pendulum or whatever? What do they call it when uh you're not going alone. There's someone, an experienced person jumping with you. Tandem, right? Jumping with you, right? I think, right? um, but I can see that they're going, what? I think she's lost it. But they're reminding me, uh, yeah, tandem. Yeah. There was this how old was I? See, we were in Denver, so let's see, we moved 9, 10, 11. I was probably like 10 years old. And we went in Denver, they have an indoor pool, for during the winter at this place, and we all went, and they had that huge back then it seemed a lot taller because I was much shorter, but they have that higher one, not the little ones you dive off of, but the big solid platform that you jump off of, and back then you climbed up this long ladder to get up there instead of, how they have it now where you just kinda keep going up. And I was scared to death to jump off that thing, and I kept on waving people to go and people to go while I stayed back, and eventually the lifeguard person, whatever, said, "You either need to jump or you need to go back down there." And I was like, I feared more of what people would think of me if I had to go down all those stairs and make everyone back off for me to go down. So I jumped off, and after I jumped off the first time, it felt so good. I went and I did it again, and I did it again. Not that you'll do this over and over, but it's like once you face that, it's an amazing. It just gives you this strength, kind of thing. Yeah. So this, see, well, maybe there's a reason why they brought this up, right? So now you can show them all. Boom, bitches, right? I'm gonna go do this. Um, and you're not it's not like you're jumping out by yourself. You have someone there that's experienced, that's done it tons of times. So anyway, very positive energy around all of that. If Bob goes, yeah, we got the magician card here. Very powerful energy as well. Another major arcana. We have the Seven of Swords. Yeah, about other what other people will think anymore, right? So now it's like, yeah, there's a Seven of Swords. Let's see what this is here. Ace of Wands. Yeah, there's this energy. If Bob goes, there's a lot of powerful energy with the Magician and the Ace of Wands and the Ten of Cups. Joy, joy, joy. Either way, right? Yeah, you could even maybe go together, but I feel like you'd really enjoy it here. The Seven of Swords is an interesting energy because that Seven of Swords is an energy of, my own thoughts and beliefs and mindsets that cheat me out of opportunities. And I don't feel like that's Bob's energy. I feel like that's like if you didn't go and you're like, you go, Bob, and then you saw what a blast they had, I feel like you would feel like I let my fears cheat me out of an experience with that. So I feel like, either way is fine. You know, it's all that again, it comes back down to the chariot card, which is your power of choice energy. So I like that. So it looks good. Um, I'm not getting any delay cards like we did before or don't do it. I feel like they're um, allowing you to face an old fear through all this. Otherwise, why would they bring in that experience about being scared and going back down the stairs, right? It's like, what are you afraid of? um, if you hit the ground, you're not going to remember it. you know, if you die parachuting, the whole thing is that when you hit the ground, you immediately will not remember anything that happened after that. Are we afraid of death? No. This is really looking at what am I afraid of? Well, we have our inner child going, why jump out of a perfectly good airplane? Because I know um, I would I've turned down many of people that have invited me. In fact, my host wants to go. And I'm like, your Aries friend, she is the one that's probably a better candidate for that for you. Yeah, right. Not afraid to die anymore, right? Let's see what your fortune cookie brings in here. Yeah, flow with the rhythm, which says get lost in the rhythm of movement today. Let's see what this brings in here. We shall see. When we were children, dance and movement were natural parts of our being. We knew intuitively how to find joy in rhythm and how to express that joy with our bodies. Maybe along the way, we were told that our expressions were not good enough to be considered dance, but the truth is that every dance in existence was first made up by intuitive movement. Like so much in this world, the art of dancing is subjective one, and you get to decide how to participate in it. You get to decide how to participate in it. Isn't that funny? If you have pulled this card, then it may be time to dance. Uh-oh. The playful exercise says put on some music and let your body move with abandonment. This is a time for freedom and play, not a time to worry about technique or style. Dance for the pleasure of moving and release any thoughts you might have of not being good enough to dance. In the world of movement, there is no such thing as good or bad. There's only what you make of your experience. If you find it difficult to dance without judgment of your movements, Try dancing with your eyes closed. Just do it with your eyes closed. When you get on the plane, I'm just gonna keep my eyes closed the entire time, and then let me know when I'm gonna touch the ground, right? If you choose to do this practice, I would suggest dancing slower and in a room with plenty of space. Yeah, if you dance with your eyes closed. Choose to dance this practice with your eyes closed, dancing slower in a room with plenty of space. Too funny, right? So the responsive journaling prompt says, what emotions come up for you while dancing? Do you feel uncertainty or shame around your body and how it moves? Do you feel joy or freedom? Do you feel awkward? Whatever feelings might arise, ask yourself why it is that you might be experiencing these emotions around dancing. And then, of course, go back through that and replace dancing with skydiving, right? Because that's the whole question. So you can look at it all that way and then go back and look at it as if all that was about jumping out of an airplane, but get lost in the rhythm of the movement today. But you get to choose whether you're going to dance or not and how you're going to dance, right? So um, there's none of that there. What was the other thing? Oh, it was roller coasters. You couldn't get me on a roller coaster when I was a child. And then we went with our school to Six Flags of Texas. We went on this old wooden, um, the Texas Cyclone, I think is what it was called. And all it had was a bar that held you in. You know, these were the olden days where they didn't have the seat belts and seat belts. And literally, it felt like you were going straight down. And if I was a skinny little stick back then. If I wasn't hold I was getting pulled out of the roller coaster. After that, you wouldn't catch me in a roller coaster until, gosh, how old was I? I think I was probably 20. No, I was 21, um, because I was old enough to drink. I remember that because I went with a group of my friends to California, and we were gonna go to Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm and go and do all this stuff, do LA and all that stuff. But they said because I think we went somewhere and, um, I was like, I'm not gonna ride any of these. I'll hold everybody's stuff, you guys can go." And they go, "You can't come with us unless you're gonna ride all the rides." That was the condition. And because of that, I rode Space Mountain and all this kind of stuff. And then after we were done, we went back and we actually went to it wasn't the same place I went as a child, but we went and I rode all the roller coasters and stuff, and it's like overcoming fears. It's like once you do it, then it just helps you overcome more. But not to push anything. I'm giving you the stories, and that's it. You're very welcome, Deb. Enjoy that. No coasters, no chairlifts, no Ferris wheel. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like, yeah, you don't have a fear of dying. You're a completely different place. Like you said, you're like, I'm gonna fly like an eagle into the future. All right. So that's what they have for you, my dear. I'm gonna move on before I embarrass myself. Yeah, absolutely. But also, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. So there's no pressure. You can just go, do I want to do this for me? Or am I going to be like, you know what? I'm okay. You know, because I think in one of them, I rode the even the one that went upside down. It starts off like here, it goes whoosh, up like this, and then it goes back around like that. And I rode it once, and then at that point, I think we had ridden so many rides, I was bored, and I was like, I'll just stay down here because they're the son that we had a child with us, and they couldn't go on that when they weren't tall enough. And I said, I'll stay here with him. You go ride that. I've ridden it. I've done all this stuff. Go ahead. So I love that. Right. Move on. Move on. All right. Love you. Thank you again for your donation. All right. And then we have Michelle Smith coming up here. So, Michelle, let's grab your timestamp here. Boom, boom, boom. And thank you for your donation via Zcash app. All right. And an ancestor's message. Absolutely. Then after this, we do have love is the most powerful force in the universe times 2. And then Lydia, you'll be up after that. All right. So let's see here. Let's see what your ancestors have. All right. What do you have for Michelle? Okay, thank you. This one is underneath that. What else? So they do want to these two and one underneath that. Oh, interesting. It's like got one card and then two, and then one card and two. So it's like complete opposite. So we'll see what that is. Sometimes there's like a message in that in itself. It's like there's this. I don't know what that is. It's not a swastika. At first I looked at it, I go, this kind of looks a little bit, but the swastika, of course, started off as, I think it was Tibetan. It was a Buddhist symbol. It is a Buddhist symbol. It was just, of course, taken over and misused, right? Or used in a lower vibrational way. Much love to you too. All right, so bottom of the deck here, you have the Three of Cups, which is the spiritual posse energy. I like that. All your ancestors being part of your spiritual posse, all your spirit guides and guardian angel and angels, and like I said, all your ancestors, and just they're part of this whole crowd of people. And it's interesting, they're bringing in that in the multiple experiences and lifetimes and expressions that you have, uh, all of us, sometimes we hang out in a family tree a lot, but really we love to feel the energies and experiences of, like, we go through the entire orchard of family trees, and we like to be parts, and so we have all these variety of ancestors. So your ancestors of this lifetime have a closer, for this human expression, have closer seats to the court. The rest of the ancestors have nosebleed, they're like, yeah, we already have those experiences, and actually, because there's no time, they're actually, in that expression of a human, that ancestors are closer. It's really amazing if we could comprehend that we can be in multiple different lifetimes all at the same time in different time periods according to our human, right? But that we're experiencing it all, like five fingers, one being stuck in ice, one being stuck in hot coffee, one being stuck in goop, one being stuck in the mud, one being stuck in cement or whatever. They're all experiencing different sensations all at the same time to our higher being, but we are only experiencing it as the one that's stuck in whatever, right? So interesting that they just are bringing all that up. Let's see what they want you to know here. Feel like there's some sort of connection with this symbol back either German heritage or Tibetan heritage or both, somewhere in all your ancestry here, because I feel like they're bringing in this energy of high vibration of a symbol and low vibration of a symbol, and that it's all, there's not better or worse from spirit's perspective and from our ancestors' perspective, now that they're out of their human expressions, right? they're in their higher, connected to their higher selves. Interesting. Let's see what we got here. We got the Four of Cups, yeah, balanced emotions. Here is the other one on kitty corner to it is the Nine of Swords. Yeah, the fears. Wow, what an amazing thing, because I was thinking Tibetan and then the German symbol, which Nine of Swords is nightmare and insomnia and all the fears. Four of Cups, they're actually meditating. So it is that energy of opposites that's coming in here. But that, like a temperature, spirit doesn't see things as good or bad, better or worse. They just see them as different experiences. Let's see what we have here for these here. Yeah, this feels like this is above the what would be the German one. We've got the Seven of Swords with the Two of Wands, and the Seven of Swords is the fears that they had, the betrayals that they had, and the Two of Wands is the power of the energies. And so they're bringing in here that, you know, it was important for, and the ancestors, of course, see like all the history, our future history, the past history, because it's all happening again at the same time. But they understand it all, and they go, that was an important experience for mankind to experience what happens when people choose to focus their energy on their fears. Then we end up doing things that are um, expressions of that fear. So we draw in fearful things, right? Whereas the Tibetan one, underneath that one, yeah, it has the Five of Swords. They help with the conflict between the head and the heart. The Eight of Swords, I love that, where the Eight of Swords follows the Seven of Swords, right? It's in between the seven and the nine. So it makes so much sense. You know, it shows one side where we choose to challenge our fears, and we learn to let go of our thoughts and beliefs and mindsets that make us feel limited and bound and trapped and fearful. And then there's that peace. There's that piece of emotional energy. And because of that, it's a different experience, right? So they do definitely have this. There's so much history and so much knowledge that they've gleaned through seeing a lot of the history, that we're like, why would we do stupid things like that? And then we look at our current world and we're like, oh, you know what? When humans are feeling unsafe or out of control, our little inner child boots our intelligent, loving, compassionate side out the window. We end up doing stupid, unloving, uncaring things, right? To try to feel safe and in control again. So it's, like Lord of the Flies. Um, is that what it was called? Where some kids got stranded on an island. They ended up turning into savages, warring parties against one another. Um, and it's because out of fears, it rose up, and they tuned into that energy instead of remaining calm. Right? It's um, a good awareness that they didn't understand at the time why people were doing what they were doing throughout history, but then they realized, oh, this is how humanity works. At least in this iteration of humanity, where we have that inner child that ignites into fight or flight mode when it feels unsafe or out of control. It's survival mode, but it's the emotional monsters that have changed for us. Let's see what else they have here for you. You got these other cards. You got the strength card. Yeah, Leo, inner strength energy. We have the power and the strength and the courage. Courage is doing things that we fear, um, regardless. Um, so it's like pushing through and not reacting, but stepping forward and doing things, and not being connected to that reactionary energy. Instead, we respond to when fears start to rise. Got the Five of Wands. Yeah, transformation of energy from lower vibration to higher vibration. The conflicting energy, I like it because it's like instead of being out in the firestorm, we're able to move into the center, to the eye of the storm where we're not impacted, and we can help transform the energy from the inside out, but not having to be out in the firestorm. The Ace of Pentacles, yeah, new opportunities, a new way of looking at our worth and relationship to the outside world. There's a little bit of energy here of that you don't have to fix other people's conflicts with each other and their uncomfortability with the world, because they chose to come down here knowing everything that they would experience, and that's okay. They're like, you can't control it anyway. It's like, they're reminding me of something they showed me a long time ago, because I used to be a huge trying to save everyone's energy. I wanted to be had that hero energy, right, that we have of I got to go help people. And what they showed me is, if you go out, there's all these people drowning out in the sea, and if you go out to try to save one, they're going to try to take you under with them, and you're not able to help everyone because it takes so much time for you to swim out, try to convince them, try to overpower them, knock them out even, and drag them back to shore just for them to swim back out and start drowning again. Because unless you're going to be with them every second, they're going to get back out in the same situation they were, continue to drown. And then I go, well, what do I do? They turn around, and I turned around, so they had this vision they were giving me. There's this raging sea out here, and people, it was storming, um and they're all yelling for help me, right? And I'm going under, and I'm just like panicked because I need to help them all, and I don't know who to choose or whatever. And they were like, when they had me turn around, there was this huge endless pile of life preservers, and they said, just throw these out there. And I just started chunking them out, and they landed near people, and I just say, grab on. And they're like, it's up to them to grab on or not. It's not up to you to go out and force them to grab onto a life preserver. I feel like that's an important energy here for you, with the second set of cards here. It's like you don't have to rescue everyone. You can just put it out there and let people decide what they're wanting to do, because you can't save anyone. They have to save themselves. And I like that. Let's see what else. Two more cards here. Yep, Knight of Wands. The quest of stepping into your power, along with the Death card. Yeah, this Phoenix. I love it. Endings and beginnings energy. This empowerment of realizing I don't have to, try to have this person get along with this person, or a company or a country or whatever, right? That all I um, can control and focus my energy on is my relationship with myself, with the individual people. But it's not my job to make other people get along. Freedom. I like that. So this rebirth of stepping into your energy in a new way, it feels very much like going to a new level here as well. And you're not alone in all this. Like, going back to the Three of Cups on the bottom, the underlying energy is you're not alone in this world. You've got a great host of beings of unconditional, eternal love that support you, are always around you. You're never, ever alone. You're divinely guided, divinely supported, and they're always behind you, giving you synchronicity, showing you, um, just reminding you. It's like a group of people behind you that we forget are there because we're so focused on what's in front of us. They put out repeating numbers and different things, and that's I'm going. By the way, we're here if you need anything. Oh yeah, that's right. You guys are back there, right? So I like that for you. Let's see what the fortune cookie brings in here for you as well. All right. This is the one, and you have disappointment is not the end. There is hope even in the darkest of nights. Wow. Look at the orchard of family, all the trees. Here's all the ancestral family trees you're a part of. But I like this little bright star in the middle and all those stars. I love that. Let's see. Card number 10, which is an endings and beginnings energy. which we already have, right? Says disappointment can be a difficult emotion to experience, and afterward, it can be hard to have hope again. That's funny because that star card reminds me of hope. That's what the star card means. It is okay to be disappointed. Disappointment is an aspect of life that is inevitable, and being human is a messy journey full of twists and turns. We do the best we can with the knowledge we have, but not everything turns out as we hope. In truth, no disappointments or mistakes make us any less of the beautiful, wonderful people that we are. If you pull this card, it might be a sign that the fear of disappointment is hindering your path. Practice courage and acceptance. There is always hope, beloved, and happiness is waiting for you just ahead. An acceptance exercise says if you feel fear around disappointment or have experienced disappointment, then it might be good to practice developing acceptance around it. If we're unable to accept that a disappointment has occurred, it can cause prolonged pain. By avoiding the reality of our disappointment, it may feel as though we are protecting ourselves from pain, but it will ultimately hinder our ability to go after what we desire in the future. Try to accept that disappointments will come and go, and know that you are strong enough to try again. Do not let disappointment or the fear of being disappointed stop you from living your glorious life. Responsive journaling prompt says, when you think about disappointment, how does it feel in your body? Do you experience feelings of anxiety or fear? Ask your inner child how they feel about disappointment and if there's anything you can do to help them feel more accepted and loved around disappointments. Yeah, right. That's part of those fears we're talking about from the inner child. So I love that for you. That's what they have for you, Michelle. Hopefully that resonates for you. I love that. So thank you again for your donation. Greatly appreciate that. All right. All right. Make sure here. Yep. So up next, we do have love is the most powerful force in the universe. All right. And you were at 122.12. We'll go those ones and those twos. This is for times two for two here. So thank you for your dual donations. Give the first one a love and a like here since it lets me. And you'd like a general reading first. All right. So what we got here. And then after this, we have Lydia. And then we have Alice. Hey, Alice. All right. Shuffle these up a little. Get into your energy. Take a sip here. Cheers, everybody. All right. So what does Spirit want you to know right now? Okay, thank you. Got this one. Got this one. That one. Got that one. Which leads to this one. All right. Interesting. You have one card. So you have one card and then two cards that look like this, another two cards that look like that, and then another card. So it's like a, what do they call it? When it's the same thing forward and backward. ILLI. ILLI. And what is that? 49 is one L. And what is L? And isn't L 50 in Roman numerals? I'm like, what is this? What is this energy? 4951? I don't know what this is. Anyway, if that means anything to you. Bottom of the deck, you do have the Sun card coming in here. I'm getting an energy here of a lot to do with astrology coming in here. And so I don't know if this is Libra energy, the balanced energy, or the twins, Gemini. But it just definitely feels like there's this balancing of the scales energy coming in here. and that it has to do with the sun. We got all this eclipse energy going on right now too, which is a relationship between the sun and the moon. All that's just kind of just circling around, and they're just bringing in all this astral energy that is influencing the physical world. Now, it's like the weather though. It's bringing in this message of that even though the sun has, like, they've been having solar flares and stuff, it influences the earth, and as well as all the astrological energy that comes in. But we're not ruled by all of that. It just influences us. It's like the weather can't control what I'm going to do. You know, if there's a tornado outside, or if it's, you know, snowing or raining or hailing or whatever, I could still go outside and get wet or get hit by lightning or get sucked up in a tornado and go to Oz or whatever. But I get to decide it. Still, there's this energy of I get to decide. Nothing in the outside controls me, but it does make it easier or harder for us to choose certain things. And so being aware of the weather, we can prepare for it. And so if I'm going to go outside and I look and it's snowing, it might be an more easier experience for me if I put on a coat so I don't freeze to death, you know. So I feel like that's an important message in its own. Let's look at the left side of the scales here. You got the Eight of Pentacles. Again, it looks like a sun energy here. And then the L is the Judgment card, which is your higher self having you look at things from a higher perspective. And the Justice card, which is also this energy of, and here, look, here's the scales. So there is this energy here of seeking the clarity. It's worth the work because you'll get the reward. And this is important. So this is like this energy. It's like seeking knowledge is for us, but it doesn't have to control us. Um, and we look at it as it's just information, but then I get to do what I want with this information, right? Um, so I like that. That's one side of the scale, is like stepping into that power. Then the other side of the scale, the one card by itself, is the Prince of Wands. Energy, energy, energy. Fastest moving. It's the quest of stepping into our power. And then we have the Four of Swords, peace of mind, with the Ten of Cups underneath it. And that is an interesting energy of the mind and the heart, because the Four of Swords is letting go of all the mindsets and all the information and being at rest. And the Ten of Cups is joy energy. And so I like this. They're saying we balance our head and our heart, right? There's information we glean from the human and also from the higher realms. And then there's emotion we feel as a human and also the heart, and we have a high heart. So we have a human mind and heart and a higher self mind and heart. Both are different experiences, but they both are also together. It's like our human brain. We've got our lower um, lower brain that develops, and then which is just the emotional fight or flight and our reactionary. And then we eventually, that's our emotional inner child. Then we get our mental inner child, but we also have an emotional higher connection and a mental higher connection. If you haven't read, it's a great book called Whole, like WHOLE, Whole Brain Living, by Dr. Jill. I think her last name begins with a B. It escapes me right now, but it's wonderful because it talks about the four different parts of the human brain and how one, because she had a stroke and she lost the left side of her brain access to it. So she was all in the ethereal and was living life from a place of not connected to the human side. She was in this saw us all as one. She couldn't see something, that we were separate. And she has an amazing story, if you have a chance to ever check that out, if you haven't. But I feel like that's the big energy they're wanting you to come in here is, that to separate all that out. Yeah, you even got the devil card on the bottom, which is Capricorn energy about all the long held mindsets that we've got information from a human's perspective, but then we have the higher truths from the spirit perspective. You even got the Two of Wands. So it's all about the choices and the balance that neither's right is neither's wrong. All of it is information, but ultimately you get to choose what you do with it all. Just a good reminder. I feel like you know all this, but I feel like it's a good reminder of the four buckets of where things kind of exist, organizing things. I feel like we're going to wait on your fortune cookie for your second one. We'll see what comes after that. So that's for number one. And then number two, thank you for your second donation. Will the spirit guides you'll be teaching to others become well known? So will the spiritual guides, all that you'll be teaching, will they become well known? All right, let's take a look here and see, based on current energies. All right, thank you. This one first, that one underneath there, then that one, then this one, this one, this one. All right. How fun you got L. You had ILLI, now you have LILI. Lily. Illy, you had Illy, and now you have Lily. Are these the names of your spirit guides? But the bottom of the deck, we have the Lover's card here. And it's an interesting because it's like this is the spirit guides, and this is just like humans. And it's an interesting energy because they're looking at we're already we're already well known just by different names. And that is very interesting because they're like it's all from the same sea. It's like if you look at all the water, um all the oceans and seas, it's all the same water. It just is named different things, and people in different places experience it differently. Like, because the Pacific and the Atlantic Ocean do meet each other at the bottom of South America. It doesn't, they're not lakes where they're, um, surrounded and separate, but they're saying that even lakes and streams and rivers and the clouds in the sky and all the other expressions of water on the planet, it's all one. It just we experience it all differently. People are experiencing snow and rain and, like I said, humidity and looking at the clouds or swimming in the ocean or a lake or whatever. It's like we're all one. And it's funny because it's like here's the clouds up in the sky. And so a very interesting perspective starting off here. Let's see what else they have here for you. We have the Five of Pentacles along the first L and the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups, of course, she's all about the emotions and she's about the connection to the empathic spirit world. And this Five of Pentacles is a card of the fear of lack, of not being enough, of being left behind, being left out in the cold kind of energy. And I feel like that they're saying here is from it, they're kind of showing from their point of view, they're like, we don't we don't have a fear of lack of not being enough because they know that the people that need to hear them will hear them. They will through you and through all of the other ways they appear to other people. And, they're talking to other people and other people's dreams, different things too. But I feel like that they want you to know this first is that they don't have this expectation or a connection to an outcome. They're all about experience because they're like we're eternal. There's no have to get stuff by a certain time or be known by everyone. If it's funny because they're saying if we made ourselves known to one person at a time for every 120 years or however long human uh, lifespan is in different times. They're like if we let's say every generation, that's good. Like if we just one person from every generation, and it would take billions of years to do that, or more, they're like that would be perfect timing because it doesn't have to be um, something in order for something to happen, if that makes sense. They're just like it's all about experience and growth, and everyone has their own spirit guides and surrounded by giant support team bringing through the messages as well. We're just an extra voice for other people as well, right? It's like my spirit guides they help me in my life. We connect higher and share, but it's all reflection, it's validation for everyone. Usually it's not anything brand new that everyone's learning. It's more helping people remember who they really are, right? Interesting. Let's see what else we have here. We have the Knight of Swords. There's a great amount of movement of communication. So there is um, communication that goes out to the world. Um, and I also feel like they say well known is all a personal perspective as well, which is interesting because well known to one person is 10 people know who I am, where 10 million people know who I am is well known to other people, right? So it's all about perspective. That's interesting. Okay, the second L, we have the Full card, which is a world of possibilities, with the Wheel of Fortune as well. So there is certain fated people that are meant to get the messages at a certain time per agreements that you made before you came down here. But there's also the possibility of reaching. So there's a core group that you are meant, um, and agreed to reach out, and the things that you're doing would reach them. But there's also a world of possibilities that there could be a lot more. And yeah, the King of Pentacles. Interesting with King of Pentacles being gratitude, being grateful for if there's one person or a billion. But it's also what does success mean? And I love Bashar. Speaking of people who channel and well known, Bashar's pretty well known through Daryl Inca. There's this actual when they channeled him, and they said, abundance is having everything you need in this moment to do what you're wanting to do, and so there is this um, interesting energy around all that. So hopefully that helps. I don't feel like they give you a yes or no, but like a yes and no answer, right? I like this. Here's the pouring out from the heavens. the Your fortune cookie is it is okay to be misunderstood. Perception is not always based on the truth. They just talked about perceptions, right? Let's see what this brings in. To be misunderstood is to be human. We each have a story of when our words and actions were perceived in the wrong manner. Every one of us experience life through our own personal lens of fears, desires, beliefs, and pains, which often leads to miscommunication and misunderstanding. It can feel overwhelming when this occurs, as we derive a sense of safety from those around us, being able to understand how we see the world. An acceptance exercise says if you currently feel misunderstood, take some time today to practice inner safety within yourself. Place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Take deep breaths and speak the words of safety over yourself now. Tell yourself that you are safe and that you are known and that everything will be okay in the end. Ask yourself if there are any affirmations or actions you can take that would help your inner child feel safe now. Remember that there are some things we might never be able to fully communicate to one another, and that is okay. The goal of this practice is not to make others understand, but to realize that their misunderstanding of you is not a reflection of your worth. You are complete, regardless of how others perceive you. Wow. A responsive journaling prompt says, how does it feel to your inner child to be misunderstood? How does your inner child feel when you practice inner safety? And then ask your inner child if there is another way they might need to feel safe around misunderstandings. Interesting. So that's what we have there for you. Thank you again for your dual donations. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. I appreciate those. All right. So we're continuing down the list, y'all. There we are. So, Lydia, you are up. Let's grab your timestamp here. And let me grab a quick sip here. All right. So, Lydia, let's give your donation a love and a like since it lets me. You want to know which career direction should you go into? Stay as employee, continue working on your startup, accept this SCH counselor training and role if the offer comes. All right. So what we'll do, of course, with Spirit, there is no should. They look at everything as they're all different choices with different outcomes and different experiences. There's not one that's better or worse than the other. There's going to bring you different experiences. So what we'll do, they will share with us the energy. If you chose number one, what does that bring you? Number two, what energy does that bring you? Number three, what does that bring you? And so you can decide which one aligns more with what your energy is and what you're wanting. So we'll take a look here first. Stay as an employee. Okay, we'll grab those. And then continue working on your startup. And of course, you can do more than one at a time, right? That one has a lot with it. And then the SCH counselor training and role, if it is offered. Okay, we got that one in here. Like this. Those two. All right. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, we have. I love the bottom of the deck, which shows the moon card starting off. It's a good energy because the moon card is all about the emotional energy, right? It's the water moon. It's our emotional ruler in astrology. And this is like a reminder that there is no wrong way, but something that helps us closing our eyes and open our heart and let our heart lead us where it wants it to go. Because living our dream is the most important thing, right? That's what would bring us the most joy in our life, is following our heart. If we follow our mind, which is another choice, we feel like we're existing instead of living. So good energy, good reminder, good kind of lens through which we can see things. But let's see what energy. If you chose number one, which is staying an employee, yeah, you have the Seven of Wands. You eventually would grow to be, I got to be true to my authentic self. I don't want to ask permission to shine. I don't want to dim my light. I don't want to have to defend what I want to do. So I feel like eventually that you would eventually leave, being an employee. Eventually it'll become so uncomfortable having to dim your light to not get written up, and I have to do things their way, and the frustration, it'll become so uncomfortable that, like an eagle in an eagle's like a little eaglet in an eagle's nest, eventually it becomes so uncomfortable because they take all the comfortable things out and stop bringing food, so that the little eaglet teenager will fly. Otherwise it would just stay in the little comfy zone and never leave it, right? It's eventually become so uncomfortable for us that we make that leap. I do feel like the Two of Pentacles is this is the balancing. So I feel like you can continue for a while balancing being an employee while you continue to work on your startup. I feel like is the energy that's coming in here. It's like it's not saying that this has to, you know, um, to be that, but it's saying that you could. That is one of your options. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Let me just check something really quick here. Okay. So I just want to make sure nothing was going on with my host upstairs. Okay. um, yeah, and because you do have the Queen of Cups and the Eight of Cups. Queen of Cups, ruler over the heart, because she rules over the cup suit with the king, but all queens get a second portion, makes the master of emotion. And the Eight of Cups, walking away from things that don't serve you anymore. So eventually I feel like you wouldn't be able to stand being an employee anymore, because your heart isn't in it there at all. Your heart is somewhere else. So it'll become so uncomfortable you just can't stand it anymore, and you'll make a leap at some point anyway. And sometimes that's what we need to hear, right? Is that I'm not stuck in this forever. I I am going to get out of here. Right? It's You're not living to work. You're working this job so that you can live your dream, right? So I feel like that's the energy of number one. Second, your startup. Yep, you have the hermit being off by yourself. Yep. Being alone with spirit, of course, and you're not alone with that, with spirit. So I like that. That spirit will help guide you, because the hermit card, the number nine, is all about that stepping back and um, connecting, asking them for guidance and assistance, with all that too. You also have the Ten of Wands. Yep, the energy of um, eventually, because that can be it's a change from a burden energy to an abundance energy. Again, it feels like, yeah, it takes energy to do a day job and then also work on your startup at the same time, and finding the balance in between, where eventually, um, instead of investing, nine of my wands in my job and one on my startup, it starts going 8 2 7 3 6 4 5 5. Then it starts where you can go part-time at the other job, or another job, while you're making your startup be your source of income too. Yeah, the Five of Swords, the battle between the head and the heart. That's the hard part, with those. The Three of Pentacles, yeah, the being true to your authentic self energy here, and the allowing yourself this creativity and letting the expectations, the Three of Swords go here too. Oh, school counselor. Okay, I get you. um, so I feel like this energy here, it's part of your for your startup is to step out of the expectations of supposed to be and should be, and this is how it has to be done. Really allowing spirit to guide a bit more in that, um, because otherwise there's going to be a lot of conflict. This Five of Swords and Three of Swords is this noodle getting in the way, the limiting that it has to be done this way, instead of going, Creator, I would like this done. What's the best way? Show me. Because they know of so many more ways of ways that things can happen. We're limited by our experience. What we've experienced in the past is really all we can imagine. but they are all knowing. And if we ask them, this is what this is what I can see. And they're like, but there's all of this, and there's all of this that they can see. And they're like, if you just, and that's what the letting go of these expectations of that the startup has to happen a certain way. And of course, so as we focus on expectations, it's also that's lack energy, because we begin to focus on what's not happening, and then we end up having more of the not happening. So I like that they're saying that we'll help guide you, but if we step into gratitude for the stuff that we love that's happening in the startup, right? And the stuff that you love that has happened, and you're grateful for it, it does allows more. If I'm focusing in on want and need, and we actually end up pushing it further away, and it takes longer, right? But if we step into the gratitude of what is happening, then more keeps coming, and it just keeps growing, right? Because whatever we focus on is what grows and expands. But I love this because, with the three of pentacles and the three of swords with your startup, if you allow your creativity to flow, that brings in abundance. If we focus on all the expectations, trying to do what everyone else says it's supposed to be done and should be done and blah blah blah, we end up disappointed, right? Because we end up um, not living from our heart and living from our joy, but living from doing all this work just to get up to expectations. So we live in lack when we do that, instead of abundance when we're living with kind of a sense of gratitude. So I feel like it can do well. I just feel like they're giving you that advice on how you can make it, even uh, grow faster and get to that place that you're wanting it to go to where you can the employee job, right? Let's see here about the school counselor. All right. And let's see what that energy brings with it. Yeah, we got the justice card. It is a learning experience. The balancing of the scales there allows you to see things from different perspectives and cut away some old fears. Let's see what this other energy is below here. Yeah, it is it is a challenging energy. The Knight of Wands. It's the fastest moving, but it's also a quest of stepping into your power. So it would help you step into your power, which we know when that comes up, right? It's like, well, it's not just hand wrapped and a gift that's given to you. And you're like, oh, thank you. I now have my power. We learn through growing pains, right? So I do feel like you learn a lot about your power and stepping into your power as the school counselor. But I feel like it's like riding a horse on fire. Whoa, hold on. Yeah, you have the strength card, Leo energy, more fire energy. You learn your inner strength and courage there. Whoa. You have the Four of Swords, a peace of mind. Um, you also learn to let go of expectations in there. Um, and you have the Six of Cups, children, right? Um, energy because you become aware of expectations that you have and ways of thinking and believing, and realize in meeting so many different people um, that they think differently, right? And they have different perspectives and different expectations. So you do learn a lot there um, through this as well. So I feel like you could do. I mean, of course, this school counselor feels more satisfying than the employee job, even though you're a technically employee as a school counselor, right? But I feel like you learn new things because you've been learning as an employee, dealing with people and different personalities and stuff. But dealing with school and dealing with that environment, it has a whole different twist and viewpoint from it. So, but I feel like through all these, the startup feels like it is part of your heart and your dream. And I feel like that is always something you're taking a step toward, that you can do that. And then you can choose one of the others until you don't need them anymore. Then you can have your whole startup be your source, if that's your heart's desire. Again, coming back to letting your heart lead the way, with the moon energy there. So hopefully that helps. We'll pull a fortune cookie here for you too. But I like it. Even have the Three of Wands, which is normally it's three pathways. Here in the middle is the your startup, and then you can go, oh, and then you can also have this or this, right? But here's your main thing that's so bright, big and bright, and then you have the two leaves on the other side. So that just is the visual like that I was seeing. There it is on the bottom of the card underneath the other card. Let's see what your inner child oracle fortune cookie says here. Let me just put these cards back in. There we go. And let's see what else we have here for you. All right. This is the one. Speak to yourself with kindness. Become aware of how you speak to yourself. Beautiful, beautiful cards here. I like this 3-3 because you had the Three of Wands, the three different routes, right, that you could go. You might be seeing a lot of threes. The stories we tell ourselves can create the patterns by which we live. In our daily lives, the words that we choose to speak over ourselves can deeply influence how we think and act. We are often unaware of just how critical our self talk can be or how often we engage in it. So, if you pulled this card, then it may be time to review your self talk. Inner work exercise says if you are currently in a place of negative self talk, this practice will focus on becoming aware of the negative self talk as it occurs. During this exercise, ask yourself, am I speaking to myself with love right now when you are receiving your self talk? It can be helpful to use an object such as a piece of jewelry as a physical reminder to speak to yourself kindly. An object of high value can be even more beneficial, particularly if your negative self talk focuses on the idea of a lack of personal worth, right? If you can, choose an item of value and importance for this exercise. You are worth it. Once you have your object, practice becoming more aware of your self talk. At the beginning of the day, set an intention to be aware of how you speak to yourself. Throughout the day, as soon as you notice a negative thought, touch your object and remember that you are worthy of positive and hopeful self talk. Whatever negative thoughts you had, speak the opposite to yourself or out loud. Practice this as many times as you can throughout the day. If you feel that you need an extra dose of positive self talk, think about 3 to 5 uplifting, affirming things you like about yourself. Write them down and place them somewhere you can easily see them. Say them to yourself or aloud every time you see the note. And a responsive journaling prompt says, how do you feel when you speak to yourself in love and kindness? How does your inner child feel when they hear these words? Try writing down how you feel at the beginning of the week and at the end of the week. Do you notice a difference after completing this practice? Ooh, I like that for you. So that is what they have for you. So thank you again so much, Lydia, and enjoy your adventures. All right. So thank you again for your donation. Many blessings. All right. So up next we do have Alice times 2, and then Empress Carmen. I just got yours coming through via Zcash app, so you'll be up after that. All right, so Alice, you are at 159.16. All right, times 2. Boom, boom, boom. All Right. So thank you for your little stickers and your donations, little puppy dog. So, first, you want to know RJ's recent thoughts and feelings about you. Has he been thinking about you? All right, we'll tap into RJ here, see what we got going on here. All right. All right, RJ. So, thoughts about you first. Thank you. And then feelings. And what was the other thing already? Has he been thinking about you? Okay. Wow, already I know. Out of my head. Yeah. Bottom of the deck, we do have the Devil card here, which is big thinking Capricorn stuck in their head energy, overthinking. I feel, do we get that with them a lot? I feel like we get the Devil card or the big thinker energy when it comes to them. But a lot of caught up in their long held thoughts and beliefs and mindsets. Very stubborn, very caged energy where their heart is caged by um, the mind, right? Um, Even kind of like they're in little, the heart, these are like the heart, they're in these little prisons. Some of my favorite devil cards are people that are actually in cages, but the door is open behind them. They don't realize you can just step out of there. It's our own minds that that keep us caged, right? Our heart caged, especially. So let's see here. What are their thoughts about you right now? Got the Four of Pentacles. Let's see what this other one, and the Ace of Swords. So obviously it's the swords is the mental suit. So they've been getting some clarity here around one of the things I feel like it's on their mind is how they felt at home around you. So there is this comfort level and of course this is your heart. Your heart is so huge. It's like a home and um, you have this nurturing energy around you is this is his perception as well but I'm stepping into your energy and it is this beautiful, it's like a canopy, a huge, they're showing me this one that when I lived in San Antonio, Texas, it was down in the Sunken Gardens. They had this huge gazebo where they'd have parties and stuff, and if it was pouring rain you could be under it and not get wet at all unless the wind was blowing sideways, of course. But I feel like that is how they pictured as they felt safe. They felt under your cover when they're with you on this nurturingness, right? And I feel like this is their mind, because this is their thinking. And they're like, I feel like, you know, I'm realizing I felt comfortable and safe around you, and they don't feel that with a lot of people. And I feel like that's a big thing that's on when we gone around in their noggin among the whirlwind of all this other stuff that's going on here. Emotions, the feelings, Three of Cups. There is joy energy here, but this also is one of many with the Three of Cups. Three of Cups energy is like third party kind of energy. So their emotions are they have joy and there's that, but it's not inclusive. I mean, specific to you. There's others that are there too. I feel there, yeah, because they brought you that first before this. So they do feel you were an important relationship in their life. But with that Three of Cups, there's like, but not the only one, which is good, not to lessen the importance of you in their life. But I feel like spirit just want to make sure you're aware so that it's not so it puts it in gives you clarity around it, right? Um, has he been thinking about you? Got the Six of Cups. Yeah, Six of Cups is someone from the past coming back into our lives. So they're thinking about the memories, more the emotional memories. So they're thinking about the good times. We have the Chariot card too, which is a victory energy, a movement energy, um, Mother Luna energy. It's a lot of emotional energy there. And the Six of Wands. Yeah. And if there's any passion and attraction, that was there too. So they're thinking about the good times and all that. But I don't feel like there's an energy of, um, like, loss, like, sorrow of loss. I feel like it's more reflecting on, "Oh, I remember that, I remember this, I remember that," because they're showing me, like, if someone doesn't put all their eggs in one basket, if one basket is gone, they have all these other baskets, but they still remember, "I remember that other basket," and especially recent, right? I'm like, "Oh, yeah." I went to reach for that basket and I realized, oh, that basket isn't there. So they go reach for one of their other baskets or find a new basket. Because I do feel like this energy with them has been a little bit like, again, with that Three of Cups. This is their energy of they feel empty in their heart and they think that someone else is going to fill up their heart. And when one person doesn't, then they think, well, maybe it takes two, maybe it takes three. Maybe it takes, a village, I don't know, a harem. But it's like it's just none of it ever makes them feel full for very long, if at all. And so it's not about you with all of that. It's about, their attempt to fill themselves up, if that makes sense. So that's RJ right now. Um, we'll wait for your fortune cookie for your second question because I like that better for that one. Yeah. So for number two, thank you for the forest, the pine trees. I live in Colorado. We have pine trees here. I love trees. The pine trees here. Messages from any of your angels that step forward, especially around confidence and preparing for the interview. Yeah, it's coming up. Woo, woo, woo. We'll take a look here. Shut these up. Let's see here. So first of all, let's see. Can you tell us which angel is stepping up? Okay, thank you. Oh, interesting. Okay. And then messages around preparing and confidence for your interview here. Okay, we've got this one, and this one. Okay. All right. Well, it's interesting when I asked what angel is it, and you got the angel of death. No, I'm just kidding. It is the angel of endings and beginnings, but this phoenix really stands out, and that's a special meaning between them and me because I have a fire elemental spirit guide who is part of a collective called the Phoenix Collective. And so the Phoenix, of course, helps us. And I feel like this is, especially on the bottom, you have the Three of Wands here, which is um, fire energy. And it's about different pathways that are out there. There's even like three different moons on here. So I do feel like they help you with your passions. They are someone that helps you with your energy and your drive in your life. So I like this. And they also help spark new things, but they also burn down things. Oh, this is interesting. I didn't know that, but they do. That makes sense. Phoenixes, they has to burn down before something new arrives. So I do feel that's the one that's coming forward because they're like, this is my department. I'm helping you on this path with a new spark in the drive of where you're headed. So what messages are they bringing forward for you here? You have the Seven of Pentacles, which is trust the adventure, because these two cards came out together. You have the Eight of Swords too. Seven of Pentacles, the last thing that grows on the fruit tree is the fruit. We also have this new moon energy coming up, which we have a new moon in Virgo this Sunday. Good time of birthing. things in the physical world, especially day-to-day tasks, which is ruled by Virgo. So I love that. So don't forget to use your new moon wishes. You have 10 new moon wishes. So I think it happens like at 3 or like around 4 p.m. East Coast time, Eastern Standard Time. So the 8 hours after that is a good time to plant new seeds. So do a new moon ritual, write out your new moon wish, and just in gratitude, thank you for this opportunity and bringing this new job to me and helping me be the best in my interview. You can do gratitude wishes for the new moon. I like that. But they're also saying here that when things are going slow, trust the process because it's giving you time with this Eight of Swords to let go of thoughts and beliefs and mindsets that don't serve you anymore. Those that used to make you feel blinded and bound and trapped and restricted, and small and powerless, right? And I feel like they're saying that it's taken time to get to this point for this interview on purpose because had you gone for this interview before, you weren't ready for it yet. You had beliefs that would have held you back. But they're like, you're ready for this. The timing is perfect for this interview because um, like I said, if you didn't get an interview before, or weren't hired before, or whatever before, and you couldn't get in or something before, let's say, there's been, feels like you've been held back and it's been taking forever, but now is the time and the timing is perfect and on purpose. It's because you were able to release things that don't serve you. So the person you're going in as now is so ready for this job, whereas before it would have almost set you up for failure in a way. Um, and they're like, that's why things slow down to allow you the time to release that mindsets that don't serve you. That again made you feel small. Now you feel larger in life, and you're going to go in with more confidence. So I like that. What else? Yep, the full card. Ready for a new beginning? A new adventure? Here it comes. I like this. And the King of Pentacles. So, two beautiful cards of victory. And, um, you know, I like that. Let go of the outcome. Just trust going, this adventure that's unfolding is full of possibilities. And um, if you can trust, it's like your spirit guides are going, do you trust us? I know the creator would ask me that when I'd start to freak out about stuff. They're like, "Do you trust me?" And I'm like, "I do." All right, then. Then I'd look at the situation differently because I was starting to freak out. Thought I was in control of all this stuff and I needed to do all this stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute. No, I can trust that what unfolds is for me and that you're on my side for my life. And I can trust you. So if something works out or doesn't work out, it's always for me, and I can sit in that. It's a great message to remember for all of us today. Appreciate the reminder, Spirit, because it's good just to be able to trust and go with the flow. Then we go in going, this isn't going to be, I'm going to just be me, and I'm okay either way. Um, because if we go in with I've got to have this and I fear I won't get it, and then we actually push it away, we make it harder for spirit to bring it to us. Whereas if we go in with gratitude, with where we're at today in this moment, I'm just grateful for the interview. I'm grateful for the experience with this person that I'm going to meet or persons, and um, I'm going to enjoy it for what it is and have gratitude. That opens it up and allows us to receive more easily. Yep, King of Swords. I like this King of Swords. They roll over the communication and all of that. And I like this because when we get stuck in our head so much, we can, and the fears. Yeah, I got all this on the bottom of the deck, all these swords, which is communication and the fears and the expectations. And we get caught up in all that. Then we're not thinking clearly. When you go in peace and with trust and joy, that higher vibration allows us to be in tune with our brain and our higher intelligent self. When we go into an interview freaked out and scared, then our little inner child knocks us out of our brain and makes us like a 2-year-old with its pet hissing cat, right? This is what happens. We go into an interview here. They're not, that cat, it's not going to do very well, right? So when we go in a place of calm, we're in tune with who we are, not our little child self reacting. And, our lip sticking to the top of our lip because it's all dry, because we're going to fight or flight. All the mucus goes dry. We're sweating, cold sweat, and we're hyper vigilant. We're freaking out. I can't think clearly. We're foggy brained. That's what happens. That's why people have interview anxiety, stage fright, writer's block, all that, because we're caught in our fears. We're out of our minds. So we calm down as much as we can, especially before the interview. Breathing exercises, listening to things that calm you down. Just remember it's for you. Whatever unfolds is for you. Doesn't mean anything about your worth doesn't change whether you get a job or not, or with someone or not, or this or that. Nothing in the outside world changes our worth, just changes our experience, is all, right? And it doesn't even have to do that because we're the ones that define meaning to everything, right? So hopefully that helps. Let's see what the fortune cookie brings in for you as well. What else do they want you to know? Yeah, become aware. Be a jaguar. No, a cheetah. That's a cheetah. Listen to the wisdom of the body. I like that. Become aware. Says our bodies are a wonderful collection of our lived experiences. Wait, they hold for us our feelings, memories, and states of being, a living library of the subconscious. There is beauty in this collective, but there can also be pain, particularly for the inner child. Because of this, it is good practice becoming aware of our body's current state of being. An awareness exercise says, in a comfortable place, close your eyes and bring your focus to your physical body. During this exercise, you may experience strong sensations in your body, no sensations in your body, or sensations that fall somewhere in between these extremes. All of these responses are normal. The purpose of this practice is to connect with your unique body. So, with your eyes closed, bring your awareness to the inside of your body. Imagine what the space inside of your head feels like. And imagine opening your eyes to the inside of your head and looking around. What do you see? How does your head feel? Now that your gaze is focused inward into your body, take a few deep breaths, relaxing with each exhale. Practice bringing awareness once again to the top of your head. Does it feel heavy or light, tense or relaxed? Can you attribute any of the sensations to an emotion? Note how this area of your body feels and move downward, stopping at each area as you go along the throat, the shoulders, the chest, the arms, and so forth. In a responsive journaling prompt, what thoughts and sensations are coming to you after this practice? Is there anything that you feel you need to do for your body now? I like that awareness because, like I said, as soon as we know, as soon as we can sense we're going into anxiety, taking a slow, deep breath in and slow breaths out, just keep doing that till you feel the calm come back. Because if you recognize how your body feels, if you feel yourself starting to, like I know I can start feeling my heart starts beating faster. I'm like, oh, I'm going into feeling uncomfortable about something. Let me breathe and calm down so that I can stay present and not flip out. So hopefully that helps, Alice. That's what they have for you, my dear. So many blessings to you. Thank you again for your multiple donations. All right, Empress Carmen, you are up. Thank you for your donation via Zcash app. Appreciate that. Whoops. Mouse gone wild. There we go. There's your timestamp. So you want to know, will James try to reconcile? If so, time frame. You blocked him on all platforms. I'm not going to make it easy for him if he is, right? Dun, dun, dun. Let's take a look here. Based on his current energy, is he going to try to reconcile? Let's take a look here. He's going to have to write a letter. I know, right? So Jimmy boy, Jimmy. Okay, is he? And then either if this is a yes, this is when. If not, what else do you need to know? Okay. Yeah, so let's take a look here. No, we have the Nine of Pentacles, which is a hermit, I'm staying alone energy coming from them. And the Queen of Wands, this is an interesting energy because at first I thought, is that you? And then I'm like, no, this is them. In the space of that, um, they tend to act like a grass fire, which is um, I don't burn backwards, I only burn forward. So I feel like there's this energy of no, I don't chase, I don't reflect a whole lot, I don't go backwards, I always go forwards. The only time I feel like they ever got back together with someone from their past was when they bumped into him again in the future somewhere, and it had been long enough where there was new growth that he could burn through, but they ended up, because nothing changed, they ended up the same old, same old. Um, but they don't go backwards. It's always forwards, forwards, forwards. They don't have like the energy I'm feeling is like I don't have regrets. I don't pursue. I don't pursue backwards. Right? They like the hunt. He did that with his ex. Yeah. So there is that. You know. Um, I'll pursue, but only forward. Not I don't go back for anything. And if anyone rejects me, which is the way they look at it, if anyone rejects me, then then I go. Also, the energy on the bottom of the deck, which the 10 of swords, which is all these expectations, they have this mindset that everyone expects so much from them. As soon as they feel like they're going to be a disappointment or let someone down, yeah, he'll take off. Yeah, like that. You didn't reject him, but he felt like I'm going to let you down. Um, I can't give you what you want, so I leave first. I don't go backwards, because they're like, no, that's it's like they what is it called when you um destroy a relationship, like you um, I'm trying to think of the word. I can't think of the word. Self-sabotage. Thank you so much. You're picking up what they were putting down. Yeah, they self-sabotage when they feel like, and even if it's subconscious, they will pick fights or um, start pointing fingers because they feel like they're failing. They're going to start pointing fingers and start arguments um, their fear takes over, and then they start acting like a 2-year-old because that's what happens. They become this 2-year-old with their pet hissing cat, right? Yeah, and then off they go, and that has to do with their childhood. That's how they grew up, being told you're not enough, you're not good enough, and blah, and they don't want to experience that all again. So they have this um, kind of repeating cycle, right? Yeah, repeating cycle of um, you know, if I feel I'm going to fail, then I'll bail. That's it. If I feel like I'm going to fail, I bail. which is, um, it's actually ran back to some tone they don't. Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, because they just reinforce what they all grew up with, right? Um, there's this, but believe it or not, this is an upgrade from where they were at as a child, right? Where they were in a place where they wouldn't even attempt anything unless they knew beyond a shadow of a doubt in their head anyway that they were going to be successful at it. Now they at least try stuff, not sure, and then but they still bail, but it's a step. I know it doesn't mean a whole lot, but it's a step. So I don't feel like they're the reconciling kind of, you know, going, they just are like it's like a caged a lion who doesn't want to be caged and they're like, "No, I feel like there's cages there, right?" Yeah, coming to apologize. Hmm. Well, that's based on their current energies, right? Which changes, of course, from time to time. That's why when we look at the future, because I feel like they're telling me that the difference has to do with time. And so the last time they were kind of feeling like they wanted to. But I feel like the more they've talked about it with family and friends, the less they, you know, um, it's like they've not that they've been talked out of it, but kind of like they've been talked out of it because they're like, "Oh, no, you don't need to go back to that," and da 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 da, because of course he's gonna tell everything from his perspective. Like, "You don't need that. There's plenty of other people that won't have those expectations on you," even though you're like, "What?" You know? It's not me that have those expectations. That's, that was him that but they were already in his mind. He already saw the cage in his mind. You're like, "I'm not trying to cage you," but in his mind, which is what matters to him, that's what he was perceiving. You have these things that you want from me, and I can't give that to you. You're trying to make me be something I'm not. Psh, psh, boop, 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 kind of energy. Let's see what else they wanted you to know here. Yeah, because we got the death card here and the 10 of cups. Right now, I feel like they're not, they're all about going forward. They're not going to reach out and, try to apologize and um, do that here. Because it feels like this is a 10 of cups is a relationship and here's the death card. So, this tells us that they see it as an end from their perspectives right now in their energy of this. That it's an ending. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah, the Tower card. Oh my gosh. And the Wheel of Fortune. So there's a very clear message here for you from them, which is from Spirit, which all these tens, you got the 10 of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune, which is the major kind of number 10, and the 10 of Swords. But, and the Death card. And the Tower card is, when someone or something is removed out of our life, it's not happening to us, especially with the Wheel of Fortune right next to it. It's like, this is for the best for you that they were removed out of your life because it does create space for someone who is more in alignment with who you are. And it clears the block to allow you to move forward into something that's more in alignment with who you are. So I do see this as an ending and um and this is for you. So I mean all this energy is it ended for a reason. Now you can learn from what did I learn about myself through that experience with them. what fears bubbled up, because the relationships, of course, that we have are, people will be our mirror, showing us what we want to see about ourselves until we see it. And no matter what mirror I look in, I'm going to get a reflection back until I see what I'm wanting to see. Then, as I change and transform, then I get a different mirror, um, that more reflects, right? So I feel like there's an important energy to look into that here. But yeah, that's the thing about the future. I know, um, when we take a peek and they're headed in this direction, they can have something that comes in that just, they, all it takes is like a little bit of a different decision that changes an outcome, you know. And but I do feel with all these cards, it is for you that they went that direction, because that does allow you, to be with someone that aligns more with your energy, instead of, you know, like you said, all the stuff that they did a lot, and everything that you put up with their reactions, and you said acting like a 2-year-old, like, you deserve to be with an adult. Let's see what your fortune cookie brings in here too. See if they give you what other guidance they want to give you here. Yeah. So let go of the past. Time to move on. It's time to envision a new story. Can't get more clear than this, can we? I know, it's our heart is like, oh, but, and really it wasn't. I don't feel like it was the person that they were being with you that you were attracted to. You were attracted to the possibilities of who they could be, you know? Yeah. um, so, it is time. It says the past is a complex thing. It can hold for us all the core elements of who we have come to be, our very essence and identity. Sometimes we can be conflicted about our story and how it has unfolded. Maybe we identify with one aspect more than another, or maybe we have rejected the past completely. However, it may be, how we view the past can have a dramatic impact on how we view the present. So if you've pulled this card, then it may be time to look at how your beliefs about the past might be shaping your actions in the present. An inner work exercise says ask yourself if the past has created an identity that you no longer wish to claim. Is there a label that you or others have placed upon you that is no longer serving you? If your answer is yes, then responsive journaling might be good to help you work through this now. Sorry, my slipper's falling off. There it goes. The responsive journaling prompt says ask yourself how this label came to be and how you might be able to release it. Make sure to pay attention to your self talk around this label. What might you be telling yourself on a daily basis to reaffirm this unwanted identity? Ask yourself how you can release this identity today. So it is about, like I said, letting go of the past. And I know it's hard, like 8 years, that is a long time, I know. But we can trust that things happen for us. That's what that Wheel of Fortune and the Tower card, when we feel like life is happening to us, we get to experience feeling like a victim, feeling like something happened against us and people had it out for us, or it's lower vibration, and we come down here to experience it. Trust me, we've all wallowed in the quagmire of our despair. We all have it and do it, and we'll do it throughout our life until we're not a human any longer, right? But when we're ready, and we're like, I've had enough of this, I'm ready for something different. Feel the feels, go through it all, experience that. Because when we're ready, we'll step out of it and we'll realize why did I want all of this to happen for me? When we do that, that changes our whole kind of um, perspective on um, what happened. And we can start to begin to see how I grow through that so that I don't repeat it, right? Because trust me, 5 relationships I had, they weren't 8 years. They were 3 years, 1 year, 3 years, 1 year, single for 3 years, and then 1 year, and then that was it. But I kept on, why am I ended up with the same people showing me the same thing over and over? Oh, this is for me. Eventually, it hit me, but I get it. So hopefully that helps a little bit there, Empress. So hang in there, and we send you lots of love. Thank you again so much for your donation. Right. Right. So many blessings. All right. So, Cat Lady of the Sea, thank you for your donation. And I just had one from Maria P come through. So, what I'm doing something different. So, I'm going to take a little detour for a moment, but I will come back to you, Cat Lady of the Sea and Maria P. I'm trying when I'm like 2.5 hours in. If I haven't done any free readings, I try to complete at the most 30 minutes of till like my 3 hour mark. And then, but I will come back to yours. I don't know if I have exactly a whole lot of them anyway. So we've got Macaroni, we've got Christina Lowe. I'm sorry, I got Touch of Love in between there. And then Christina Lowe for your free reading. Okay, we did that one. We did that one. We did that one. Sorry, it'll take me just a sec here. Then we have Starfall. Grab that one here. And Mary the Aries. Got you there. Okay, scroll. Hey, Olivier Bagata. Didn't see you come in. Hello. All right, what's coming for you next week? Let's grab that one here. Okay, those are Alice. Then we have a Teshi Singh. Hello, Teshi. All right. Okay, we did those. All right. And that's it. So there's not a whole lot. So those, again, those are just like 1 to 2 card readings. So they won't take as long, of course, as the not the fortune cookies, but with fortune cookies, the donation. So let me just grab these and we will jump in. All right, let me take a quick sip. We'll begin some free readings here. All right. So Macaroni, you are at 237.19. And you wanted a general reading. So let's see here. What does Spirit want you to know? For Macaroni, please. All right. So you've got the 9 of Wands and the Chariot. Wow. This is a great energy because the Chariot card is a victory energy. It's a powerful movement energy. And the 9 of Wands represents, in a way, stepping into your power. The way the 9 of Wands here, like if you imagine there was this wand was blocking the way here behind him, but now that he stepped into his power, he can walk right through what was blocking him before. And that's what both of this energy together is telling me, is that something that has been holding you back in the past, which of course it's only us really that's holding ourselves back, unless it's something before we came down and go, absolutely do not let me go through that door in that direction. Then they lock that. We're like, let me in there. And it doesn't let us in there, right? And that's because there's something better and more in alignment with our energy down the road, another door that's open. So sometimes that happens. Rarely. Most of it is our power of choice, where I'm focusing my energy, both my emotional, physical, and mental energies, my intention energies. And this is a change of choice that is coming here, that's opening up this whatever this block has been. And so when we realize if I'm focusing in my energy on want and need, that's lack energy. If I'm focusing on my fears, that's creating obstacles for me. Lower vibrational emotions and energies are like anchors that slow down things, that keep things at a low place, like sandbags or those big ropes on a hot air balloon. Soon as we start cutting away those things and changing our energy to higher vibration, we rise higher and things speed up. And then we bust through blockades that were holding us back. But we're the ones. It's usually this noggin, the noodle here. As someone says, the meatloaf between the ears. It has all these limiting thoughts and beliefs and mindsets that protected us when we were younger, but they are obstacles for us now. They just slow us down. So, as we're releasing those thoughts and beliefs and mindsets that don't serve anymore, emotions that don't serve anymore, physical things that don't serve us anymore, any energy that doesn't serve us anymore, as we release that, transform it into knowledge and wisdom, that allows us to move forward. And I feel like there is this movement, things and choices that you've been making every moment. You choose the story, the emotion, your energy, your actions. Can't control anyone else's, but that power of choice energy is so powerful, because whatever we focus on is what grows and expands. But it's about the clarity around what are we focusing on and realizing it, because we're taught focus on what you want, you'll get more, not realizing that that's lack energy, right? Because I'm focusing on, we're taught manifestation is focus as much as you can on want that. But how that is lack energy is when I'm in gratitude in this moment and I'm grateful for everything I have no want of anything else. I just continue to have gratitude about the things I love in my life, and more things to love come in my life, or more of what I love comes into my life. It's how gratitude works. If I focus on want, that means I feel like something's lacking right now because I want something more. Then it gets pushed away, right? We become an obstacle for the energy bringing it to us, because we're focusing on not wanting it in a way with our energy. So hopefully that helps, Macaroni. I feel like that's what they have for you right now. So many blessings. All right. And then Toucho Love, you are up. Let's grab your timestamp here. And I want to ask Spirit if love with the person you're thinking about, will you guys be together? All right. Let's take a look here. Christina, your free reading is actually up next. Your first reading, that's your timestamp there. So there you go. All right. Oop, boom, boom, boom. So will you be together here? Let's take a look here. What else do we have here? Yeah, well, you have the 10 of cups, which does show that that's a possible fruit for this Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight out of them all, which is about patience, and it takes time for things to unfold and to get to that point with this. So it's like the Seven of Pentacles, which is the last thing that grows on the fruit tree, is the fruit. The the Knight of Pentacles. All the other knights are about internal energies and stuff. This is the only one that's the outside world, which is seasons that take a long time in the outside world, right? So that's the kind of energy that's coming in here with this. I feel like they're a slow mover, and it just feels here, coming from their energy. It's like they're on this Knight of Pentacles is this quest for their self-worth, which, if are they May 25th? Yeah, that would be a Taurus. I was thinking Taurus energy. And that's what this is. That's what they are, right? But the pursuit of it's like their path has been looking at their worth and relationship to the outside world in a different way. And so they're very slow at in moving in a relationship energy with this coming in here. And I almost have this feeling here, touch of love, that you're a patient person, but I don't know if you're this patient. I feel like, it's a possible fruit that comes in there, but it's like buying an apple orchard. They're reminding my brother, who's a Taurus, they're reminding me of this apple tree that he planted in his yard on his property where he lives out. And it had been 3 years and the apple tree had not borne an apple yet, and he tried all the things. And he was like, "I'm gonna chop this thing down." And that's kind of what the energy I feel like here is, that you're like, at some point, you're like, nah, I think I'm just going to let this, I'm not going to have hope in this anymore. Because I feel like it just takes forever for another step, another step, another step. And you're just like, that's okay. I'm I'm kind of want something sooner. I'm gonna go buy an apple, a bag of apples at the store. I don't need to go where I don't have to wait for this tree to grow into its full maturity. So anyway, that's what's coming in, touch of love. I know, but that's the energy right now, as I feel like you'll end up becoming impatient based on current energy. Maybe you're gonna go through a big, huge where your patience gets multiplied even more than it is right now. But I feel like you're a pretty patient person. But like they have it in capital letters. I don't think you're that patient. All right. Anyway, many blessings to you, my dear. Hopefully that helps a little bit. All right. And then Christina Lowe. Hello, hello. Welcome back. All right. Yeah, I'm doing the free readings, and then I think I only have a few more, and then I'm going to finish up my last two donations too. So, Christina, general on your upcoming trip to Cali to visit your kids and your grandkids, your grands. All right, let's see. We got that one, and they want this one too. So, based on current energy, what do we have here? Yeah, we've got here a nice little restful Four of Swords, resting your mind. Energy in the Chariot. Here's the Mother Luna Cancer sign energy that's behind this. But it's a victory, it's a movement energy, but it's also a power of choice energy. The combination of these, I like this for you because, of course, you get to choose everything, your story, your emotions, what you're feeling, what energy you're drawing to you by what you're putting out, and your physical actions. You can't control anyone else's. And the Chariot card reminds us of that you get to control your experience, and that's all that you can focus on. Well, I want everyone else to be happy. I want everyone else to do this. Let go. You can't be an emotional Nazi and control everyone else's emotions. It's impossible. You can't. So it's letting go, letting everyone experience what they want to experience, and let yourself experience what you want. The Four of Swords is that too. They're asleep on the Ace of Swords, which is seeing things from a place of unconditional love, right? And letting go of the Three Swords on the wall, which are the Three of Swords, the expectations equal disappointment. And so there's this great energy of letting go of the supposed to be, the should be, the need to be, the have to be on yourself, on other people, on the experience, whatever, and enjoy. Try to focus as much as you can on each moment, because you're the one that's going to get to decide what everything means, and you're going to see the entire experience through your own eyes, and that's all that you can control. So it's sort of like release control of all this other stuff that's outside of your control, and you'll enjoy it a lot more. But it's coming down to here with, that's your choice. There's no judgment. If you want to have try to do everything you can to make everyone happy while you're there, enjoy that adventure. And what it brings. They're like, it would be a lot more fun for you if you let all that go. So I like that for you, Christina. So hopefully that helps. That's what they have for you right now. So many blessings to you. Thank you again for your donation earlier. Right, Starfall, you are up. Let's grab your timestamp here. Maybe we'll try that again. There we go. So Starfall, you like a general read. All right. All right. I don't want this. All right, Starfall. What do you want Starfall to know? All right. I don't want that, but I want this one. And well, you get 3 actually. It's like, which one? They're like, just them all, because I feel like there's like repetitive messages in here. Oh, I see now. So, put them all these up here. You've got in the middle here, you have the 5 of Wands. The 5 of Wands is a change of energy, and it's from changing from one to the other here. And the energy you have, it's interesting because you've got the Ace of Pentacles, which is a focus on a new opportunity in the physical world. But the Princess of Cups, the Page of Cups, is about following your heart. And the 5 of Wands is like there's this energy of, because it's changing from a lower vibrational energy to a higher vibrational energy. And I feel like there's this opportunity that's opening up with whatever. I feel like you're working towards something. I don't know if it's a job opportunity, a relation. It's something in the outside world with another physical. It's not an internal thing. It's an external. This Ace of Pentacles is an external thing, which feels like it's something that your mind and is saying, this is what we should do. This is what you're supposed to want, what you're supposed to do. It's like these expectations that are drawing forward in this direction, right? And that's of the mind. And the Princess of Cups is your heart going, your heart is pulling you and nudging you and drawing you in this different direction. So there's this conflict going on between your head and your heart inside, and your mind going, well, no, look, that's what we want over there. It's just keep doing this, and you need to do this, and should do. It's like all this stuff. Like, this is what you need, and keep working, and you'll get up to here. And it feels like work. It feels like you're behind, and you're trying to catch up. This other, the Princess of Cups, it is a totally different experience because there's no expectations when it comes to the heart. The heart is just all about gratitude and celebrating what is and the joy and the what is, it's exciting. It feels like you're living, where the other feels like you're just trying to get up to zero to exist. So I feel like they're bringing in that closing your eyes and opening your heart. Let your heart lead you. Where's your joy leading you? They know the way, and they'll bring you to a place where you feel like you're living and not existing. So I feel like that's what they have for you right now, Starfall. Hopefully that helps and resonates. So many blessings to you. All right. And then Mary the Aries. You are up. Let's grab your timestamp. You need to chill. Yes, Christina. You collect others' karma. You can't collect others' karma. You try to take responsibility for others' karma, but you only draw to you what your energy is. You don't draw other people's energy away from them. They're attracting what they're attracting. You're attracting what you're attracting. You're so funny. Bum, bum, bum. All right. So Mary the Aries, the energy around you and your son, Nathaniel. All right. Let's take a look here. All right. So we want these two here. What do we have going on here? Yeah. do we have here? Here's the Empress energy, Mother Nature, Mother Nurture. There you are, Queen of Swords. Balance of the head and heart energy coming in here too. You know, there is this um, nurturing energy with the Empress, creating something new. And this Queen of Swords is this, it's difficult when the heart, wants to love so much and nurture so much, but the mind gets in the way. A lot of expectations. This is what causes the trouble between us, each other as humans, because we have this long list of supposed to be, should be, need to be, have to be, must be. And we think everyone else has the same one, but we don't. Even your children. Even my nieces, who are twins, don't have the same ones, and they had a parallel life mostly, but even then, they had some different friends, different experiences, and they're different people, and so they have different mindsets. But when our expectations and their expectations don't match up, we get disappointed when we try to have those expectations imposed on other people, especially if we have a lot of expectations on ourselves. So I feel like the energy that's coming in here is, especially with the Queen of Swords, she has the Ace of Swords, which allows her to connect to see things from a higher perspective, from a place of unconditional love and joy and laughter and gratitude, rather than what we grew up with, which are a lot of small t truths, opinions, popular opinions of the outside world on how things are supposed to be and should be and need to be and have to be and must be, which suck the life out of relationships. So I feel like there's an opportunity here to create. I don't know if you guys have had conflict in the past. I feel like there was. And this, if it's about reconciliation or getting back together or getting a stronger bond, this is, I feel like you're going to have to be the creator of it, in that the first part is to get out of your head of the way you think things are supposed to be and allow, just kind of from this place of unconditional love and going, you know what? I'm not going to expect anything from anyone. And then whatever people give is above and beyond extra, instead of expecting things from people and they're always falling short. And we experience disappointment. We focus on what's not happening. Of course, when we focus on lack and what's not happening, we get more of what's not happening. So I feel like there is this release of expectations kind of energy in here. And I do feel like, there's all these butterflies. We've got this butterfly in the chest of rebirth, and we got this huge butterfly behind here too. That there can be this wonderful growth, but it takes um, expression of love, not expression of expectations, if that makes sense. So that's what I'm getting there. Hopefully that resonates, but that's what's coming in for you, my dear. So many blessings to you. All right. And then we have Olivier Vagara. You are up. Let's grab yours here. So, Olivier, here's your timestamp. And what's coming for this new week? I know. One here. Don't want those. Want this one here. Yeah, because what is it? September 19th? We're coming up almost on the end of the month already. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I like this because you've got Temperance and the Eight of Pentacles. Temperance is, the alchemy going back and forth. Eventually, through time, you get the base metal, it turns to gold, right? Well, the Eight of Pentacles is that putting in the blood, the sweat, the tears. You will begin to see the, the little candle started to dance. It's out of the corner of my eye. It's the fruit of your labor. It's that you're going to start to see things. You're like, wow, that is really looks like it's turning more and more to gold. So you're starting to see the fruit of things, the actions you've been taking, the changes that you've been making on the inside. the changes of your focus of your energy, the focus on gratitude, right? All those things that you've been looking at and moving through, it's like you're going to start to see the changes. Next week you're going to start to see a little bit coming here and there. It's like when you plant a giant cranberry tree, I think it's on trees, right? Cranberry tree. And because they're smaller than apples, right? You have all these, and you start to see, oh, look, the fruit is starting to go. It's still green. It's not, you can't eat it, or what, I think it's green. You can't eat it yet. It's not ripe, but you're starting to see the fruit of stuff. And then one day you walk out and there's two of them that are red and ripe. You can take them off and you're like, oh, I can have these. And then the next day more, and then the next day more. So I feel like it's starting to culminate, and you're starting to see the fruits of your labor come in. Before you know it, boom, it all turns to gold, right? But you're starting to see the fruit coming your way. So that's what I feel they have for you, Ateshi. I'm not Ateshi, Olivier. Um, so thank you so much. Good to see you, my friend. Ateshi's up next. That's what I was looking at here. So Ateshi, you're at 3 hours even. So this will be my last free reading for this sesh. And then I will finish up my last two donations after this. So Ateshi, should you get over and move on from Hugh Lee? There are no shoulds from, of course, Spirit's perspective. There's just different choices with different experiences. So Spirit leaves it up to you to choose, what do you want, right? What they will give us here is based on your current energy. If you do get over and move on from them, what does it bring you here? Okay. And if you don't, what kind of energy you have? Then you can decide what you want of the two. Yeah, you have the Chariot. If you do move on, there's movement, there's power of choice, there's victory. Very powerful energy with the Chariot card is, I get to decide what I want. I don't have to do what everyone else wants. I get to decide what I want. It's the power of choice. So one, you gain this energy of, I get to choose what I want in life and moving forward. And but there's also this victory feeling, this movement, like I get to move in my life. It's like the path opens up and it's like stagnant water that starts to flow. It's like it feels refreshing, right? If you don't, you, well, the Hermit card, feeling alone, it's like you're gonna, I feel like if you don't get over and move on, that you're gonna feel like you're alone anyway. I feel like with that Hermit energy that you're gonna have a lot of time alone with Spirit, so you'll have good time anyway. But I know it's not funny. It's just trying to have humor to make it. It's like sugar helps the medicine go down. Laughter helps sometimes for us to take some hard news, right? It's like, if you don't, I feel like they will, and you're gonna. Um, if you are attaching yourself to them and not getting over and moving on from them, you're just going to kind of be sitting at a table by yourself waiting for them to always show up, and they're not going to sit down, so your table is empty, instead of you getting up and going to a different restaurant, and then you get to meet other people. So I feel like that's the energy that's coming in here. Of course, it does feel like the thing that will make you more empowered is for you to go, I'm not going to wait around for someone and all this. I deserve to be with someone like me that gives and communicates and shares like I do, right? I I love this. There was this book by Humble the poet. I think it was How to Be Loved, How to Be Loved. And one of the things he said in there, when we're stepping into our authentic self of who we are, we kind of change the question from, does my energy match theirs, to does their energy match mine? Because one is about, oh, maybe I need to change to become who they need me to be. It's like, no, we're looking for someone that matches our energy. We wouldn't expect someone to change to match our energy, or maybe we do, but it's like, it's not going to happen. People's energy is their energy. So if it's two magnets and they're not turned the same way to where then one repels the other no matter what they do, or the other way around, right? So it's like, no, magnets will attract and you'll know it because it's the same, right? Instead of kind of running away from it, right? So hopefully that helps, Satoshi. Some many blessings, much love there. Hang in there. All right. So that is it for the free readings, and we will jump back here and finish up our last two. So Cat Lady of the Sea, thank you so much for your patience in getting to your reading. Let's grab your timestamp here. And let's give your donation a love and a like here. So should you take your renters to court or let it go? Well, let's take a look here. As I was just mentioning to Ateshi, Spirit doesn't tell us what we should or shouldn't do. And from their perspective, there's not good or better, worse, or whatever. There's just different choices with different experiences, and it's all adventure. So what I'll do is I'll pull cards here. If you take the renters to court, what energies around that? So if you take them to court, based on current energies, what does that bring in for you? And then if you let it go, what kind of energy there is? And then you can see what energy matches more of what you're wanting to experience, right? So we got those and those. All right. Yeah, I like it. You have the Two of Wands on the bottom of the deck, which is your power of choice energy. We're like, yeah, we definitely have that, right? So it's whatever we focus on is what we draw to us, right? So if you do take your renters to court, you have the Ace of Wands. There's a lot of fire energy there, which is a choice. You have the Leo energy, which is a strength card. A lot of fire that boils here, right? So there is a lot of conflict energy with this. It even feels um, like they're a warrior. Thought these were horns on her head, but it's the new moon. But it is like a warrior roar energy, right? So that I feel like there is a lot of uh, I wouldn't say arguing, but there is a lot of verbal expression here with all this. See what's below the surface here. Yeah, King of Swords, a lot of communication, and the Temperance. I feel like it would take a lot of patience and time for things to unfold here. A lot of, like it says, a lot of communication that comes in here. Um, I feel like it with the Temperance card, it takes patience to get there, but it turns to gold. So I feel like if you're willing to put up with all the energy and the strength and like all the communication and all the talking and the work and all that, that eventually it turns to gold, but it does take time. You would have to have a lot of patience with it. And so if you have that much energy to invest, it's like you do get the gold in the end. So we have that, right? Do you want to put up with that energy? So the choice is yours, right? I mean, so that's one side. Let's say if you let it go, what energy comes, and you can see which of the energies you prefer, right? You have the World card, which is a victory. It's an ending of an old cycle, the beginning of an energy, right? Yeah, I know, right? I was gonna say I'm exhausted. Six of Swords, which is moving from choppy waters to calmer waters. It is seeing things from a different perspective, letting go of old expectations. And we have the Prince of Swords, too, the Page of Swords, which is about seeing things from a different perspective. That's who this underlying energy brings in here. You have the Empress, which is an energy here of creation. It's Mother Nature, Mother Nurture. What's this other one? The Princess of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles, a different opportunity. I almost feel here with all of this that there's this if you don't take them to court, that approaching it in a nurturing way, maybe from a different perspective, um, kind of letting go of the old expectations of the supposed to be, the should be, the need to be, because that's where we battle, right? Instead, it's like um, meeting them where they're at and going, so I mean, if it's like they can't pay or they're doing this or doing that, you know, it's like almost coming from a place of understanding what they're going through, where they're coming from, and seeing what kind of other options that we can develop, stuff like that, right? Yeah, so those are all those mindsets, right? So, but that's your choice here, right? I mean, if you just let them go, you can be in this place. It's like what they're reminding me is my first ex. Um, I made the wonderful choice of co-signing for their lease on their vehicle, and they chose to give it back to me and lease a different vehicle. And then I had two cars. Well, not in the beginning. They were driving around in it, the leased vehicle, and but then they were like, "I can't pay you this month, right? And I can't pay you this month." And but I saw them, new clothes, and they got their hair colored, and they had this and that and all this kind of stuff, right? And I was like so upset. I was and they came to my door to let me know, hey, I can't pay you this month, right? And it was bothering me so much um that when I released it and I told them, you know what, never mind, just can you pay next month's? And they're like, yeah, I can do that. And I'm like, let's let the no, 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 I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, right? And it's like, okay, you know. Um, so um, for my health, I was like, I released it, right? And that's what the energy I feel like with this choice is like, that's the kind of feeling you would have with that. But like you said, you're saying here, it's lots of money. We didn't do that. Da, 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 da. So it sounds like you know what you want to do. And that's your choice. And that's what's good. Um, so there you go. That's the answer to your question. You've answered your own question. Um, so let's see what your fortune cookie says here too. See if it gives any in here. But you have the temperance card. It just takes some time and energy, and then you can get the gold back. So if the gold means that much to you, which I know in this day and age and everything you're going through, then um, those are the choices, right? Let's see what your inner child oracle brings in here for your fortune cookie. Yeah, so there is hope ahead. That's a great card for you. You definitely need to hear this right now, which says, have courage and take heart, for there is hope. That's the strength card, strength and courage. And it 35 35 equals 8, which is the strength card, which is what you got for your first one. So life is a journey filled with many highs and lows. Sometimes a low can be followed by another and another until all that is remembered are the low places. It is at these times that it may seem as though there is nothing left to hope for, and all that remains are the ashes of what once was. So if this card has come up for you, know that there is hope once more. A wonderment exercise says, now is the time to let hope in. There's so much good waiting for you ahead. There is a deep and divine love that is always present and always waiting to wrap you in its arms. You are held, you are loved, you are never, ever alone. Reach out today unto the divine and be held by love. A responsive journaling prompt. How does it feel to let hope reside within your heart? Do you feel apprehensive when you think about hope? Hope is the belief in something that has yet to come. Even if we feel that we have no guarantee that what we hope for will arrive, it is far better to let hope into your heart than it is to keep it out. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely get where you're coming from. Um, and that's where a lot of our, we've got a lot of beliefs that things like Jordan's not supposed to do what he's doing. These renters are not supposed to do what they're doing. We have all these expectations, all these beliefs about how life is supposed to be. And where our anxiety comes in is when reality doesn't match up to everything that we've been conditioned growing up about how everything has to be. But people people do, all that stuff does happen in the outside world, and it can be hard for us, especially when we feel impacted by it all and we kind of feel like all this stuff is being done to us. But eventually, and I know where you're coming from, because I, of course, went through this a lot myself. Yeah, it's the physical law, um, but we also all of these things, because I know I went through a lot of these things, all this stuff coming in, all this stuff happening, and it's like this isn't supposed to happen. I'm not. You're not supposed to like not pay for the car that I co-signed on. You're not. Then they dropped it off to me and went and leased a different vehicle under their name that they wanted. Well, I didn't want that car anymore, so here you can have it back. And I'm like, I have two cars now, you know. So that whole this isn't the way it's supposed to work, but obviously there it unfolded, right? Eventually, I realized, everyone is not living up to all the rules and laws in my head, and the ones that society had or whatever. And it's like I'm releasing myself from the high bar I have for myself too. So it was, pretty freeing for me eventually. But that's what will happen to us is, um, if you a book that really, and a process and a great resource that helped me with all of that was, it's Byron Katie, um, and she has a book called Loving What Is, and she actually has a YouTube channel, under Byron Katie, BYRONKATIE, and then also a website, thework.com. Free Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. It really helps us, find peace. It's a wonderful reflective process that allows us to. It was so relieving to let people, people are going to do what they're going to do, but I get to choose what I'm going to do about it all, right? And so hopefully it brings a little bit of energy there, but I feel like that's the choice, really, right? I'm either, um, I I don't want them to get away with it. I want the money, so I'm going to take them to court and I'm going to find the energy somewhere. Or I have to let it go. There's not like a different answer, right? Because they're not just out of the goodness of their heart. Um, Voodoo dolls don't work. We think they do. The voodoo dolls don't work. We can't do anything to make them do anything that they don't want to do. So it's, um, the only thing that we can do in any situation is the more I focus on lack, the more lack I get. The more I focus on what I am grateful for, the more I get grateful things that come toward me. That's the energy that changes my experience, that draws in things differently. And I know you're in a difficult place and it's hard to not focus on all this stuff that's happening. But that's one thing that we can do is start a gratitude as much as I can about what I do love about what I have in my life and have had in my life. Then that draws in and opens the conduit to bring more of that my way. So I know, cat lady. I know. I know. So hang in there. If I won Powerball, if I won that $1 billion, I'd be helping you right now. But I didn't, so all I can do is share their messages. But hang in there. Oh, he's a Gemini and he's a Pisces. I must have looked at the date of birth wrong. You might have done it like a different format than we normally do. All right. So Christina, what were you saying all this time? And then Maria P, you'll be up next here. Oh, okay. A Cali guy. A solid guy. Oh, you know what you typed? Tripping out. Ah, very cool. That sounds off. Okay. Ginger apple water with lime. You're so funny. All right. I just wanted to finish that up there. All right. And so, Maria P, you are up. Well, look, we were waiting for your timestamp, which is like a little mirror 3/21/12. So, thank you for your donation via the PayPal. So, Wally's feelings and thoughts towards you today. All right. So, feelings and thoughts. Put those there. What's coming towards us this weekend? Okay. Put this one and this one under that. Update on the dark side. Right. Let's shuffle that up. I'm not getting anything. What? Okay. Reconnect. Did the internet disconnect? Come on. Any update? What can we know about the dark side? An update, please. All right, there we go. I was like, are they telling us none of our business tonight? What's going on? What would it be like to tell me? Say what would he like to tell you that he hasn't? Okay, is there anything that he'd like to tell you that he hasn't? Okay. And how will your case with your ex go? All right. Based on current energies, what do we have with the case here? We've got this and this here. All right. So, feelings and thoughts towards you today. Yeah, we got the Ace of Cups. We've got love, 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 and Three of Cups, joy, energy here. So, they're definitely, with both of these coming in together here, I mean, I feel like they're more in their emotions than they're in their mind today. So, I feel like it feels like this spark here of just enjoying what is, and I feel like they're so tired. Maybe they had a long week of work because I feel like they're just like, I'm turning this off. I'm just gonna sit in here for a while. Regarding you at least. They're just like, I'm just going to sit in here. So I like that energy. A lot of love energy, of course, and joy. So very positive energies that are coming in there with that. What's coming up for you this weekend? You got arguments coming in here with the Five of Swords. So some conflict, some yelling. I'm just kidding. You're like, what? The Eight of Cups underneath that. Eight of Cups is letting go of emotions that don't serve anymore, relationships that don't serve anymore. I feel like maybe there is going to be an argument over walking away and getting away from that, situation. Is that at least you're forewarned, don't do it. But there is conflict between head and heart around this letting go of emotions and relationships that don't serve anymore. That's coming in here. So there is a bit of energy with all this, and we're in the culmination of the eclipses and all this, which is a lot of release energy and a lot of brings things to the surface. So there might be conversations that come up around this, but definitely there is a battle between head and heart regarding this. And I feel like this is an energy that's really coming to a head based on current energies. A lot of, when we have those fears, when we have that anxiety, when we have those expectations, that energy just draws in this, right? And I feel like there is this conflict that's going on. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of conflict going on the dark side. We'll see what this update on the dark side is, because I feel like there's a lot of that going on, and that's where this conflict is coming from. So I feel like a lot of the weekend is kind of consumed with the fighting that's going on over there, and that's impacting how they're communicating and you know um the amount of time they're communicating, because it's brah brah brah. It's like they're, thunderdome going on over there, kind of energy. That feels very conflicting over there. Let's get this update on here. Yeah, here's the home, Four of Pentacles energy. So I feel like that getting the new home, and has been re-brought up, and this now it's I feel like the story is different now about, of course, the extremity. I feel like from what Wally wants to do, and going, no, I don't want to do that anymore, because I feel like it's becoming very aggressive toward Wally, and um, so there's a lot to do with home, the home that was to be purchased or built or whatever, and then the home living in now. Feel like there's a lot of conflict between all of that that's happening this weekend, and I feel like that's a big psh, um, thing that's happening. So I feel like that's like the underlying energy that's impacting your guys' weekend, at least based on current energy is what I'm picking up. What would he like to tell you that he hasn't? Got the Judgment card. I feel like we have this calling. I think we talked about this before, about what he really wants to do with his life and where he wants to go. It's that dream that he hasn't told anyone. One, I feel like he feels like he can't see the possibilities of it happening. He almost think it's like it's an illusion, it's a dream that I don't think I'll ever be able to do, because he never is in a place where he has the ability to do that, whatever his dream is. He's always um, helping his family and child and everyone else, and always doing something that takes him in a different direction. And I feel like that's why he hasn't told anyone, and he hasn't told you, because he feels like it's a waste to tell someone about it, because then if you bring it up, then I'll feel bad about it, because I know I'm not going to be able to have it. So if I don't talk about it, at least I can have moments of daydream about it, but then come back to reality, right? Interesting, right? And then how will your case with your ex go? Let's take a look here. Temperance. We got a little bit of energy here of it takes time and some patience, but temperance is eventually it turns to gold. What's underneath here? Yep, and the Two of Cups looks like you get back together with your ex. I'm just kidding. I'm being so mean to you tonight. You're like, what? No, no, no. Two of Cups. I feel like you guys end up coming to an agreement here. Because it is, this is the father of your children, right? So, I mean, you are in a relationship, whether it's the type of relationship that you guys are having here, but I feel like there's patience. Eventually, I feel like it ends up coming to a mutual agreement where you feel um, good about it here, because we even have because you have the Two of Cups, but the Two of Cups that are going back and forth and back and forth. I feel like eventually you guys work it out, but I feel like there's a lot of going back and forth and back and forth um, with trying to find what you're able to do. Um, so compromise might be uh, an energy that's around all that. Let's see what your inner child oracle, your fortune cookie, brings in here for you as well. So connect to eternity within. Let yourself be held by love. I love that. So turn in here. This 9, this hermit's journey. Realize that the outside world isn't going to give you the love you're looking for. It can't. So I like that, with the court case, with Wally, with work, with children, with everyone. Just know that in here is where you're going to find it with this number 9 energy, the hermit energy. So within us lies hundreds of worlds, thousands of lives, and millions of possibilities. We are infinite, stretching forever into the expanse of the universe. As beings of stardust and sunfire, we carry eternity within us. It is in our remembrance of our essence that we find stillness and a peace that extends past the borders of time. If you have pulled this card, it's time to connect with that eternity once more. Take some time today to go into your inner worlds and connect with the expanse of the divine. There's a wonderment exercise that says find a quiet place with minimal distractions. Light a few candles, burn some incense, utilize crystals if you have any, turn on some uplifting instrumental music, and go inward. Start by visualizing the love at the center of your being. See that love enveloping you, surrounding you with its warm golden light. Feel the heat of that love kiss you upon the cheek and squeeze you tight in its arms. Let yourself melt into this love and become one with the divine expanse of all that is and all that will be. A responsive journaling prompt says, when you hear the word divine, what emotions do you feel inside of you? Is there anything that might be stopping you from fully receiving unconditional love or experiencing the wonder of the divine? Something to think about. I love that. Connecting, remembering who you really are, powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit being made of unconditional love. This is a character, one of billions of characters you're playing, but remembering who you really are allows us to take this life a little less serious and see it more as a playground instead of something like an obstacle course, right? All right. So that's what they have for you, Maria. And I think that is everyone here for tonight. So thank you guys again so much for all of your love and support. And don't forget, we had a giveaway available. or drawing that we'll have for the birth of my new podcast series, The Easier Path. So down here, it's also in the description box of the video, of this video. But if you comment on the intro video that came out last Monday about something that you're grateful in your life, I'll have a drawing on October 1st for at least one winner. It all depends on how many participants that I have. I might choose more. So you have that. And then also I have some specials. I have personal recorded readings and live readings too, but personal recorded readings. My 15-minute and this is for all of September, rest of September, and until the end of October, I know. My 15-minute is $7.77 and my 30-minute is $15.15. So if you're interested, there's a link there, and all that information, like I said, is in the description box of the video. But I want to make sure you guys knew about that. All right, everybody. Well, until I see you again, remember that every second of every day of your life, you truly are eternally and unconditionally loved by the Mother and the Father of all things, our Creator. And of course, I love you guys too. So until I see you again, hang in there, take care of yourselves. Remember, have some fun. His Spirit has been saying, why are we being so serious? We're like, well, if you were down here, and they're like, they're everywhere, they know, but they get it. But they encourage us, have as much joy and gratitude and love as we can, play as much as we can, until I see you guys again. Much love. We'll see you soon.